Hey everyone, welcome back to probably the most exciting day in the painting realms. Bill, are you ready for what's about to
I
happen on this fine day?
I'm ready.
Oh man. Um I'm not gonna quite jump into the OBR, even though I want to. Did you see Battle Scroll that we got one recently? Like I think it was yesterday.
I did. I saw it.
Yeah. Um let's go over the I just want to talk about that a little bit. The two
Yeah.
big things, like there's like some small changes to points and stuff. And Cruel Boy's got some stuff that probably doesn't matter, but
Okay,
Rally
cool.
changed, and you
Yeah.
can only bring back a maximum of 10.
10 wounds, right?
Yeah, 10 wounds worth of. Yep, perfect. Even better. What do you think? You think that was what it needed? Is that the way you would have done it?
Um, it's a solution that'll probably work.
Yeah, if it
Because then
has.
it makes up the 4-up rally not as like egregious, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the more I thought about it, the more okay I was with it. I think it's right to like limit it in some way.
Hmm.
I wanted. You remember how reanimation protocols worked for Necrons, where it's like you roll equal to the wound value, and then like
Oh
it
yeah,
was two
yeah.
wounds, you needed two 5-ups. Yeah, I thought that would be a good fix for it. So like there's no way you're getting a fulminator back even if two of them are dead. But it doesn't affect like the one wound stuff. But maybe they just didn't want like the one wound stuff to get out of hand either, so
Yeah.
I'm fine with it the way it is.
Yeah.
I think that was a relatively yeah, I like that. I'm curious to see how that goes for like Gloomspite and for Corn, I guess now too, and all those armies that have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I still think five on your two wound models is still like a lot. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good change. Let's see. Um, oh, I just realized my chat doc is gone. Here it is. It's back. Cool. And then the other change was to Arcane Tome. So Wizard can't take it anymore, funnily enough.
Oh yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. In addition, you don't get your lore spells, you just get Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield.
That's right, yeah. So
Yeah.
you can't like yeah, that was a big change.
Yeah, so I'm probably not taking that even close to as much as I was before.
Right.
And like, I don't
It
know. What
kind
do
of
you
makes us have to reevaluate a lot of uh book relics, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And like that becomes a real problem for your book now too, right?
Mm-hmm.
If like, oh, well, we don't have great relics. Crap.
Well,
Well, I don't know. I think I'm mostly positive on it
yeah.
because like, anything at the end of the day that like promotes diversity, I'm super on board for. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'm cool with it. Do you agree?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Um, I think there's still times where you're gonna take it. I just don't think it's even close to an auto take anymore.
Yeah.
And like sometimes like a Mystic Shield battery, like running around with that, like that's gonna be good enough. I think.
Yeah, I mean sometimes that's just what you want.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's like, oh yeah, I'm absolutely taking this every time.
Hmm.
So,
Are there any more of the core artifacts you think you're taking? Like, I don't know. I had a list today that I thought maybe the Vile Mana Core Venom might be really cool for.
I don't even remember that one to be honest.
You pick a weapon plus one to wound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Bring that
I
thing to
mean,
wound on a 2-up. Like, that's cute.
yeah, I think it just depends on what you're
Yeah.
yeah. You just gotta reevaluate things a bit now.
Yeah. Exactly. And, like, the weird thing, too, is, like, I never thought, like, Arcane Tome was doing anything bad for the game, too, right? Even though it was, like, ubiquitous. But I think at the end of the
Yeah.
day, anything that promotes, like, list diversity, I think I'm in for.
Yeah. And I mean that kind of makes sense because like if it's like, well, I could take, my own relic or oh hey, I could just take an arcane tome and it's just better.
Yeah.
Right? That's not the space we really want to be in.
Yeah, that happened a lot in like Sylvaneth too, where it's like I like the autocast relic, but I just made sense to take the Arcane Tome to get the extra cast on my
Yeah, it's just better.
Warsong Revenant. Yeah, it's just flat
Yeah.
better. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So cool. Good stuff. Anything else, or you think it's time to jump in?
All my armies got point decreases, so I'm happy.
Yeah, actually. What? I don't think any of them. Oh yeah, Nighthawk got a couple point increases,
Mhm.
and one of them was a unit I didn't own, and I'm like, maybe I should like start looking into that. And I'm like, well, because like I did the Bladegeist Revenant, Bladegeist Revenant list, right?
Mhm. Yep.
And the thing about that is the Dreadscythe Heritance. Like if I wanted to bring the same amount of bodies, I was 80 points less, and that could get me a Purple Sun. Like maybe that's like worth looking into now for me.
Could be. Yeah.
And then they increased it by 10 points, so I don't get the Purple Sun anymore. So I'm like, okay, this is dead to me again. That's fine. I didn't want to buy and paint them, so. And then Hex Raids went up again because apparently, like the Hex Raid spam list is really, really oppressive, and I could kind of see
Oh,
that. So
yeah.
I'm fine with it. What else changed? Like I know Gloomspite changed, and oh yeah, Skagrat went up like 50.
Skagrat won at 50?
Yeah,
Dang.
and remember we're like, yeah, I think
Yeah,
at
we were
50
like,
we'd
he's
still
taking
take
every
them.
time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Well, I guess it makes sense then.
yeah, I actually played against Gloomspite today.
Oh,
And the
cool.
change to the list was I just dropped one of my other shamans, and it's fine. And then like maybe I could put an endless spell, or I just get the triumph to +1 wound, and
Mhm.
that's fine. Yeah,
You still take him.
yeah, you still take them.
Yeah,
So
that's fine.
maybe not in every list now, but like I don't know. He still does so much for that army.
Oh, he really does, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think that's that for the battle scroll. I don't think there's any other news, right? Yeah.
I
So we're
recall.
yeah we're doing this show a little late because life got in your way wildly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Wildly
And
yesterday.
then
That's it.
we're gonna do Soul Blight Monday. You said I think
Yep.
because you're going away for a while. Not to give too many
Yep.
details, but we can't do
Yep,
it
I
any
won't be
other
around
time,
for a couple weeks. Yep.
which is great because we have the whole Soul Blight book too,
Yes,
and
indeed.
I'm very excited for that one too.
And we probably won't get another book in for the next couple weeks after that, so that'll be good.
Yep, hopefully,
Yep.
unless like the Seraphon thing comes up because like oh man the army box, you know
I
how
think
like
it
Slaves
could.
was like not out for like 2 months after that army box came out, but like the book was out. We've played it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that, but probably not.
I got a feeling it might be like the new edition of 40K because they've been going into that quite a lot recently.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
So I
like
got a feeling we're going to see that for a couple weeks before we get anything more for Sigmar.
yeah, I agree.
Maybe not. Maybe it's too soon. I don't know.
And yeah, like I'm so interested in playing the new edition of 40K.
It does look cool.
Yeah, like
Oh,
Andrew's actually been playing the Escalation League around here, getting into it.
oh
Trevor
nice.
is he's looking to get some Tau ready because
Oh,
he found
okay.
some STLs that he really wanted, and he's like, I want to try it, and I really like these models, so let's go for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Cool. And if I play that enough, and if you ever start playing it after the new edition, maybe we start covering some of that stuff too.
Yeah, I'm
Doubt
getting
it,
the.
but
I'm
maybe.
eventually getting some Chaos Space Marines in, so
Oh
I'll
yeah, the
have it.
mini wargaming stuff, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that'll be sweet too. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel like I just want the Tyranids that are coming in that next wave.
Probably.
Back to Tyranids and Necrons for me. My two loves in 40K. Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's see. Ossiarch Bonereapers. Our eyes squint as we adjust to the heavenly glow.
Oh God, is it really bad?
No, it's exciting.
Oh,
The
okay.
best army in the game. We finally got our third edition Battletome.
When I read that, I thought you. I was expecting the. Oh no, that looks great. I was expecting it to be like the blurriest images imaginable, just
Oh!
like super, like
That would have been really funny.
glary and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, some of the Soul Blight stuff was that, but I think it's gonna get cleaned up a little bit. Oh, the Soul Blight one was so annoying too, because like the first set of leaks that came out, like the
Hmm.
guy who took the pictures was like dedicated to make sure that the stat wheel with like wound, move, save was not part of the picture.
Oh,
Like it
that's
was like
weird.
his mission in life.
Oh
I'm
boy.
like, I don't know why you did that, sir, but
Yeah.
oh well, it's fine
Like
now.
I appreciate the rest, I guess, but
Yep. All right, let's talk about these. So, OBR, my high level take is I think the survivability was like a side grade or a very slight downgrade.
Okay.
But the damage is pretty noticeably better. I don't want to say significantly, but I just felt like I was able to move stuff a lot easier. And yeah, there's some change. There's some things that we lost, but there's a lot of stuff that we gained here.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, I played 2 games of it today.
Cool.
I won one and I tied the other. I won against Gloomspite and I tied versus Zinch. So it's a pretty playable book too. Like right out of the
Nice.
gate. Yeah, so those are 2 of the biggest armies in the meta right now. So I
Oh
had
yeah.
some game against them, so it's good stuff. Alright, let's see. First passive, very easy. Don't take Battle Shock. I'm surprised that's still there, to be honest, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Easy to leave though. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't think it does, like, that much crazy stuff over the point of the game. But it does lean into that angle that you don't love of, like, well, I make so that you can't pass Battle Shock. I'm like, well, I don't take any to begin with, you know?
Yeah.
Like the counterplay to the counterplay. Yeah.
It's one of those.
Yeah. In this phase, it's minor because nobody likes this phase, but it's fine. I don't think it's doing anything egregious, and it's really nice.
Yeah.
To have.
It's just like kind of part of their identity, and it's easy enough to leave.
Yeah. Let's see, next. Deathless Warriors. Perfect. 1 sentence. Ossiarch Bonereapers have a 6-up ward.
Easy.
We don't have to worry about it being within 12 inches of a hero or 6 inches of your unit's leader. We just have it. Because,
There you go.
honestly, in practice, that usually just happened.
But it was, like, annoying when it was like, wait a second, like, this is the one time where, it's not true, so...
And it just, it's one of those things that slows the game down, too. Like, okay, I have to be extra deliberate every time I move something.
Yep.
And, it's just a nice quality of life change.
Oh, for sure.
And, at this point, all the death books have just the 6-up ward. It's nice.
Yep.
We like it. Netherite weapons. So, if you remember from the first book, a bunch of the little guys had a netherite weapon, which was 6s to hit or 2 hits. Now it's just army-wide.
Oh, wow.
Yep, everybody has netherite weapons. And obviously, that gets better with the better your weapon profile is, right?
Yeah.
So if you're swinging something with 3 damage and you get another hit in, it's surprisingly powerful, I think. I think it's easy to look at this rule and think of it like a whatever power level, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know, I think it's on average, it's about 5% more damage to everything. Which is respectable. You have any thoughts on that?
More damage?
Yeah, something like that. I didn't do the exact math, but it felt like most of the cases I put into Stat Hammer, it was just a little bit more damage each time.
Yep.
Because I guess if you think about it, it's an extra hit. So that's a 16% chance to get an extra hit, which most of the stuff is 3 or 4.
Oh, I see how you're
which
doing.
Which is 8, okay. Something like that. Yeah.
It should be pretty consistent, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just a great rule to have. And also, too, if you remember, there's the spell that made the Netherite weapons work on a 5. That just targets anything now, so.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can do some really good power parrying with that. Really cool stuff. And then let's talk about the real Allegiance ability. The Relentless Discipline.
Oh, it's different now. Yay!
Yeah, we're not stuck on those, silly, RDP. You're not commands, but you are commands. That's great. That was clunky. Obviously a test for the next edition. If you thought that was saying you were delusional. At best, right?
And also, just go back, everybody, and watch our redesign for this book, and notice that we called this one exactly.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny.
Really exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think our version of it was, we didn't get quite as many, but we had more ways to issue it for free, but, we're they're just going to have a lot of command points, and then their own commands.
Yeah, and their own commands are the ones that can be issued multiple times, not the normal ones.
Yep.
And just all of that is exactly what happened.
Yeah, which is great, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the generation. So you still get the 2 or 3, depending on if you go first or second, and then you count the number of models or units you have in your army. If you have 3 or more, you get an extra one. If you have 5 or more, you get 2 extra 1. And if you have 7 or more, you get 3 extra 1, and it's cumulative. So
Oh,
that
it's
means,
cumulative.
yep,
Oh, wow.
yep, these command points are cumulative, which is interesting, right?
I was not expecting that.
Yeah. So you have 8 or 9
Yeah.
command
Yeah, well,
points.
it literally says that. I just missed the word.
Yeah,
Just the
I missed
phrase.
it
Yeah.
too. Yeah, and then I was talking to my friends, like, yeah, it's insane that like you can get 8. I'm like, there's no way. And
It's
then
like,
I read it
well,
and like,
hey.
well, yeah, if I go second, I get 9 even.
Yeah.
Holy shit, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
That's a lot. And that's just like normally gonna happen in the first round.
yeah.
Second round. Yeah.
And there's like small like quality of life things too that like make you have more than that in a way. Like there's a hero that lets you issue a command once per turn free, and like we love that on the Stormcast guy who does that, right?
I feel like it's just way less valuable here.
It is a little less valuable, to be sure, but you also can just spam some really powerful effects, right?
That's true.
The way I see it though is like this allegiance ability tells you that your army has to be 7 units. If you don't have 7 units, go back, start over.
Yeah, figure something else
Yeah,
out. It's
and
3 extra command points is a lot.
ideally, I think you want 8 or 9.
Yeah, because you don't want to lose 1 unit and suddenly get 3 less command points immediately.
Exactly right, because
Yeah.
that's a lot less.
Oh yeah. It's interesting also how it scales for smaller games.
I like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do like that it's not tied to like you roll equal to the amount of units, and then each 6 up you get an extra one. It's like that
Hmm.
was like annoying to work with. Like you just count them, you see what you have, you get the points, and then you move on with your life.
Yep.
Yeah, this rules. And then let's go to the next page. Let's talk about what the commands we actually get are. And there's 7 of them, in addition to the core ones. But I gotta tell you, man, how nice it was to like re-roll a 3-inch charge into a 10.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, that was like the best feeling in the world for this army. Nothing made me happier than that. Okay, so the first one is reform ranks, and this one lets you fall back and or retreat and charge. We see it in Night Hunt, obviously very powerful. And there's
Yep.
also stuff too that does like impact hits. And I was like going through the game, like just retreating, charging, getting the impacts. It was really nice. Or there's times too, it's like I was kind of in a tar pit, and I just retreated out of the tar pit and then charged the thing I needed to fight.
Yeah, it's like they couldn't lock you up or anything.
Yeah, for an army that is like traditionally quote slow,
Right.
that's a very powerful role.
I will never believe that Ossiarch Bonereapers are slow. They did not make them slow.
Yeah, it's like they're slow, and then you have to spend a resource to make them fast, but like you have plenty.
But you have that resource to
Yeah.
make it. Yeah.
Speaking of which, unstoppable advance. You add 3 inches of movement in the hero, and yeah, to the move characteristic.
Yep. There it is.
Yeah, yeah, and like you have a bunch of like 4-inch stuff that goes to 7. That's reasonable. 6-inch stuff that goes to 9. That's good.
Yep.
Yeah, and then your cavalry's around 10. So yeah, like on the surface, yeah, it's a little slower than everything, but that makes it a lot faster. Yeah, lets you
Oh
really
yeah,
position
it
well.
actually makes it like if you're spending those, it makes it faster than most things even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's some pure cavalry armies you're not keeping up with, but like most other foot stuff,
Yeah.
other
Yep.
than like Night Haunt, right? But that can be their thing.
Sure.
Yeah, great stuff. Reknit constructs. 1 second. I need to get this coffee in me. I'm starting to crash.
That is totally fair.
Yeah, so yeah, Reknit constructs was something that we got in the White Dwarf, and it lets you return D3 wounds with models or just heal D3. And remember, like It was very upsetting because it was at the end of the movement phase, and if you weren't in combat and didn't move.
Oh yeah, it's like what?
Yeah, so now it's
They
just if you're
fixed that?
not in combat.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But it's at the end of the movement phase too.
So you can't use the retreat and charge then,
You
right?
can't use the
And the
retreat and
same.
charge, but you can retreat and heal.
Yes, right. So you kind of have to pick one, but
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like,
that's even good
yeah,
for the
exactly.
game anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a design incentive, and like when you're not winning a fight, you can just pull back and heal up a little bit.
Yep.
Or there's like times too where it's like, well, I need to go into this combat. I'm gonna move outside of 3, and then I'm gonna heal, and then I'm gonna charge. And like that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that went from like a nothing roll to like I don't know. I'm probably using that a few times a game now.
Sure. Yeah.
Just like healing up some chip damage. Yeah, rules. Counter Strike. I forgot to use this one all game. That probably could have been huge. Okay,
Huh.
so when you get charged, yeah, use this in the enemy charge phase. After an enemy unit finishes a charge move, the unit that received this must be a Bonereaper within 3 inches of an enemy that made a charge move in the same turn, and more than 3 from other enemy units. So if you get charged by one thing, basically, you add 1 to your wound rolls with melee weapons in the following combat.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and it's in the charge phase, so it doesn't interrupt your like all-out defense, all-out attack, or some
So
of the
you can
other
just
later ones.
you can all out attack and this
Yes.
and yeah.
Yeah, well, I feel a little silly for forgetting that. That's huge, but yeah, that's great stuff, right? It
Oh
makes
yeah.
it scary to charge.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a lot of stuff too that like wounds on 4s and bringing it up to 3s makes it reasonable. And then 2 is just horrifying. Yeah, that's great.
Two bringing something up to a 2 actually increases damage by. No wait, that's not the one. Never mind.
Is it 3 to
It's still
4?
good. It's
Yeah.
still very good, but yeah. I guess you're reducing your misses by literally half.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid. But yeah, like 5 to 4, I think is the sweet
The
spot.
actual. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're right. Yeah.
Because like 6 to 5, just like you're already not doing enough damage for the doubling to matter as much.
Yeah.
Unless you have a whole pile of attacks.
Yeah, and
But anyway, yeah, still really good.
yeah, exactly. +1 to wound is pretty rare in this game still, even, I'd say.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So like just having
helps a
that
lot.
like as a
Yep.
core rule, like cool.
Now, do most of them have a 4-up to wound, or is it normally a 3-up?
So the way it works is like your Mortek Guard, your Cavalos are a 4-up.
Okay.
And then everything that's bigger is a 3-up.
Okay. That's usually what they
So
do.
your unconditional battle line's a 4, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I should have said this earlier, but Nadirite weapons doesn't affect your mounts.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
But yes.
But this does. So
Okay.
like they actually moved the Cavalos too from like a 4s/3s on their mounts to a 3/4. And so if you get charged with them, this brings you to 3s/3s. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't complain. Next one, Impenetrable Rakes. This gives you +1 ward to your deathless minions. And then you can use it at the same time when you're picked as the target of an attack. So if somebody shoots at you, you can get to a 5-up ward. And so if somebody like attacks you in melee, you can get to a 5-up ward. The reason why that's important is because there's other ways to get wards around in this book. And it's just like you can't bring your 4-up ward to a 3-up ward or your 5-up ward to a 4-up ward.
Oh, you can only increase it once.
Yeah, it's just your deathless minions.
Oh,
can
okay.
be increased. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but honestly, just having a 5-up ward on command. Like I played against Siege today, and it would have been nice to have that in the spell phase, but I don't know. There's enough stuff that's like I do 6s on mortals, or on 6s I do mortal wounds,
Mhm.
and like just having the 5-up ward, or even against just like regular damage. Like we saw with Night Hunt, that brought them from like a little soft to very tough.
Mhm.
We're gonna see that here too. And this is like an OBR one, so you can just like do it to your whole army.
Which is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Like you'll pick the one fight that's super important. You'll probably all out defense that, bring up their save, and then just 5-up, 5-up, 5-up. It's actually quite scary.
It's interesting that you can't stack them.
Like your ward saves, you mean?
You can't, right? No, I mean the all-out defense and the, or is it?
Oh yeah, you pick one or the other because you can still only receive or issue one command.
Yeah, I was wondering what phase.
Oh yeah, it's the same timing as all-out defense, so you can't stack
Yeah,
it.
okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, okay.
Which, like, honestly, probably thank God.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah, that would be
that's good, I
disgusting.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And then bludgeoning. I don't love how this is worded. So you use this ability at the start of the command phase, and then it gives you an additional rend. So that's exactly how it used to work. But you can't like all-out attack treatment this, right? So if you like, I have an additional rend, you telegraph it hard. You incentivize them to go after that unit.
Oh sure.
Maybe that's fine as far as like the balance goes.
Start of the combat. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see why they would do that.
yeah. It's just annoying that the rest of them are reactive, and then this is like the one that's not. You know, like I
Yeah,
would like to have them all the same timing windows, but that's a nitpick. But I get it
yeah,
too. You know.
yeah.
But you know, additional rend was really good then. It's still
It's
probably
still
super
really
good
good
now.
now.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think actually a lot of times too. I think I took this over all out attacking still.
I think that usually makes sense, right?
Yeah. I think I think it does. Because if I can get you to no save, I'm like, I think that's better.
Yeah.
And I think yeah, you're relying on your Nadirite too for a lot of your damage also, and you're not really affecting that either way. Or actually, you're not affecting that with your all-out attack, but you're improving your Nadirite weapons with additional rend too, which is micro, but like that's still worth mentioning, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the all-out attack doesn't help those.
Yeah, the extra rend does. Yeah, so
Yeah, so that's interesting.
I like that it's not tied to a specific sub-faction too, right?
Yeah, like it's
Yeah,
yeah.
like it
How
had.
how Alex did they do the subfactions in this book?
You know, the sub-factions, I guess we'll see, but they're just like the one passive, like everything, like most other books.
Yeah, it's like Slanesh was like the only one that they did like wildly different.
You know what? Actually, next book we talk about Soulblight,
Mm-hmm.
it's completely different.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
What are they doing?
so we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
But I really like how they did that. But I just like it's just a passive here in this book, and
Okay.
I'm mostly a fan of that, to be honest.
Yeah, it makes it easier to. It feels more like just like a mix and match, figure out what you want to do, as opposed to like having this whole thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. But then again, those kinds of things can be interesting too. Like you like play wildly different based on like what subfaction you are. So I think there's merits to both.
yeah. There's definitely merits to both. I think this way it's just nicer to. It's easier to build, but the other one is like a more rewarding experience when you actually truly make them equally incentivized, and it takes a lot more work to make that version good.
Yeah, that's very true.
But
Yep.
I don't think every army needs that.
Right.
I certainly don't think this one did. So I'm happy with how it works.
Mhm.
And then we have one more, and it's unflinching coordination. So it's in the combat phase, and after an Ossiarch Bonereaper hero fought, the unit that receives this command. So you basically issue to another Ossiarch Bonereaper unit within 12 inches, and then they get to fight immediately. Interestingly enough, it can be any unit, so like it could be another hero. But I think the designer note says that if a hero fights, you can't then again pick another hero. So you can't just like chain all your heroes and then pick your unit, right?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, which is good because I think that would be
Yeah.
super annoying.
Yeah.
But honestly, I like it. I don't think you're using this one a ton, but there's been
No,
like
I.
one situation in each of my games today where it's like I know that like my unit of 6 Guard are gonna like melt this thing, and Bellacor's at 2 wounds, or like whatever I was fighting is at 2 wounds.
Yep.
And I don't need the combat buffs to punch through, so I'm just gonna kill them both before they get a chance to hit me.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and like the fact that you can like multi-issue these, like there's gonna be like good ones, and they're gonna be like situational, but it's just a toolbox to have. And like no, I don't know. A lot of these feel like kind of like on top of all out defense or all out attack. Like You're just gonna pick the one that's better, and they're not like functionally that different. But it's kind of nice to have that toolbox too.
Yeah.
You know. But like I could see us like in another video like talking about that being like rules bloat.
I was going to, funnily enough, my next comment was going to be basically like, this still isn't a starter army because there's a lot of stuff here that you got to remember you have.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a starter army. I mean,
Yeah.
like it's probably fine, but it's not an easy army. I don't think it's super hard though, because I think there's like a lot of forgivingness with how many command points you have. Because like if you do a redeploy that did not matter, like you just threw away a point, and when you have like 2 or 3, that's massive.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels bad. But like when you have this many, it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah, you're
whatever.
like, yeah, I'll just throw it willy nilly. Yeah,
That's true. That is a good point.
there's like a lot of forgiveness with that too.
Yep.
But I think to like get the most out of it, it's not super forgiving.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but yeah, overall though, like I don't think any of these are bad. Like they're all cool tools to have.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how it's like there's a couple movement phase ones, and then there's like a trade off on like aggression or defense. And I love having the 5-up ward as one of the abilities too. And I love that they made it so you can take it in the shooting phase, because a huge issue of this book before was just getting worked in the shooting phase and having no thing you can do about it.
Yeah, and you can use it as many times as you want too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're protected. That being said, a lot of the book is on a 4-up save. Nobody's save went up. And we did lose the sub-faction ability that gave everybody ignoring the first pip of enemy rend.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
So that's kind of big.
I think when like if you're used to fighting OBR and you're like, okay, how do I punch through like they can all out defense now and they reduce the rend and they have a 5-up ward. Like what do I even do? Like they don't have that reducing
Right.
rend, which honestly that's a pretty big hit to survivability.
So that's kind of what you meant by side grid for
Yeah,
survivability. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, like you have
And
more
that was
tools
only
to
in
work
one
with.
sub faction, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Which was bad. Like
The still best one. Yeah.
yeah, like that. It's funny too. It's like it's not even like that sub faction was super overpowered. It's just like they put all the things that made that book work in one sub faction
Yeah,
and just
exactly.
forced you to take it.
Yeah, they really did. From the very, very beginning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which that yeah. There's a lot of things
Yeah.
about that old book that were so poorly written. And
Yeah.
that was one of them. Unfortunately, but
That happens.
yeah,
It was still a fun book.
it was so new, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
exactly.
oh, man, I had so much fun with it. And then like when it didn't matter that they didn't have like command abilities, you're like this obvious bad thing, like it doesn't feel bad. And then when like the whole game moved past it, you're like, oh, hold on, actually no, this is
No,
terrible.
I want the new toys, and I don't have the new toys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't think you needed them, but like it was a bad feeling.
Yeah.
And like being able to reroll a charge, being able to redeploy, oh man, like that's one hell of a drug, man. Just being told no for 2 years. My
Then
only
all of a sudden,
problem is why did we wait this long?
well, yeah. My worry is that that they're going to go very quickly into the next edition, and all of this stuff is going to be like, oh, well, I'm glad we got to play with it for like a few months.
It's a little
Hopefully that
scary.
doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If they do like
really.
I was a little worried about that too, to be honest, because like what they're doing with 40K, they're like rehauling the stats.
Yeah.
And if they're gonna do something like that to AOS, uh-oh.
I feel really bad for guards players that
Mm-hmm.
like just bought their book, or like the like I almost picked up the World Eater Codex.
Oh yeah.
Just yeah, like I was close to doing it just to be like, or the Chaos Space Marine one. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, you know, maybe. And then they were like, yep, those are going to be useless. Or they were like, these aren't useless. Look at all the cool lore. And it's like, uh-huh. All
Yep.
right.
And I guess technically you can use the missions in them. But like
Sure.
how
But
many
like,
times have we done that?
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like maybe twice ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's funny too because it's like they tell you like, oh, but you can still play old editions, and you're like, you're so correct. I know you're so right, but that's not how the world works.
No, it's like you give a new toy and you're like, but you can go back and play the old stuff if you want.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Who is going to be like, yep, that's what I want to do? I mean, some people,
I
for
might do
sure.
it once, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be the norm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway, great
Yep.
commands. Yeah, I love every single one of these. And like, they all do like I don't know, like it made there's a lot of this book that's like very reminiscent of Nighthawk. I don't know if you noticed that too. But like being able to retreat and charge, having the 5-up ward.
Yeah, it's like almost they're like giving death more of an identity in certain respects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of like medium fast, like tools to get unstuck in combat. Like if you can't shoot, you can't get tar pitted, you know?
Right. Yep.
That's fair. I like that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, just some raw power too. Like all of the above. Great. Let's see. Command traits. Let's see. There's 6 of them, and I think 3 of them are very, very good. And I don't think there's one that I don't really like, but I think there's going to be an appeal to it. So let's go over these. Dark Acolyte. First one. So only wizards can take this, and the first spell they cast can't be countered. So that's for like that heroic action that we no longer have. So you have to like invest to have that, which there's some armies out there that are just like I have a billion to cast or I have an auto deny.
Yeah.
If you really
it's just like
yeah, really want that spell to get through, like this is how you do it.
Yep.
I don't love the design of it, but like I get it. I get why you'd want this. It seems like a pretty good all-rounder list. Yeah.
It seems okay.
It
Yeah.
seems fun.
It's,
yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
This is one of the strong ones, I think, too. But let's talk about the next one. This one's just rude. Show superiority. While your general's on the battlefield, roll a dice before your opponent spends any command points. On a 5-up, your opponent must spend 2 command points to issue the command instead of 1.
That is rude.
Yeah. It's so funny because it's like the Lumineth spell that just does that. But it's only on a 5-up. So it's not super consistent. And just like calling it superiority, like come on, man. That's rude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's. I mean, it's a good ability though.
It's certainly very
Undoubtedly.
strong, yeah.
Yeah.
And like I think the way it's worded too, so like they go to do all out defense and they have 1 point left, and then on a 5-up they just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's every time they use a command point, and it's anywhere on the table too. It's not like within 12 of your general or anything like that, right?
Yep.
That's probably very good. I haven't played it, but
It sure sounds good.
yeah.
Yeah.
It could do nothing all game,
messes,
or it could just like or it could just mess up
completely
everything.
cripple someone. Yeah, at the worst possible time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little weirding on the timing too, because like, how does it work if they're like, okay, I want to use alt defense. I have 2 points. I get the 5-up. Do they get to decide not to do it? I think not, right?
While this general is on the battlefield, roll a dice before your opponent spends any command points to use a command ability. I think that depends on the exact wording in the core rules of how you pick it. I'm saying yes that it guess that they have to say that they're going to use a command ability, then spend the points, something like that.
Yeah.
Here, you know, I got the core rules right here, so
okay,
I'll look it
let's
up.
try to find that. Yeah, because I think this thing wildly changes in power if they get to change their mind.
Right. And I don't even know what it would mean to change your mind.
Yeah,
like, actually, that'd be weird. Like, you'd then have to have all kinds of rules of like, well, you can't then choose to use the same one again, and yada yada yada.
Yeah, exactly.
But I have that rule already. I don't know. This is weird. Yeah, I'll look it up while we go on to the next one.
All right, next one. Mighty Archaeosion. Ignore negative modifiers to save rolls for attacks that target this general. You have a pretty good combat guy with the Liege Cavalos, so there might be use in this. But like that's a pretty good rule. But Like if you could take this on like a vampire lord on zombie dragon equivalent, you're living large, right?
Yeah.
But we don't have that in this book. Your best thing's a 7 wound thing, so it seems like fine.
Yeah, I kind of like when they do this, where they put like seemingly like very powerful abilities that would be like super good on like big guys. Like they just limit it to like, oh, you can get it, but it's only for small guys.
Oh yeah, it's like busted on the
It
monster, but fine on like a unit that sucked to begin with.
right, exactly.
Yeah, I do like that space too. I won't lie. But honestly, like a 7 wound thing with a 3-up base save, and you can still like all out defense to bring it to a 2-up. This becomes like a little tar pit guy. Like that's probably for 180 points. That's probably reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go.
Okay.
To use a command ability, you must spend 1 command point, pick 1 friendly model to issue the command, and pick 1 friendly unit to receive the command. Unless otherwise noted, the models that can issue commands, where unless otherwise noted, the models that can issue commands and the units that can receive them are as follows. Okay, so that doesn't clear it up actually at all.
No.
Not even a little bit. Because it sounds like you pick all 3 at once.
Yeah.
Roll dice before opponent spends any command points to use a command ability. No, I have no idea. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I feel like, because I feel like if this, back to the previous one, show superiority. I feel like if they like choose to spend the command ability and then it costs 2, and then they're forced to use it, like I think that makes this thing pretty insane.
Yeah.
But if they can take C backsies on it, it still seems good enough to like give them the choice to shut it off, right?
Yeah, I think we can assume that they can't do the take backsies, right?
Yeah.
Well, but actually I don't know how that would work. Because like you can't be like, because there has to be something there, right? Like if you
Yeah.
go like I all out defense. Okay, I can't because I don't have 2 points,
Yeah.
right? But I can't, so I don't. But then on the next guy, I could all out attack, right? Because I still
Yeah.
have a command point. I can still
Exactly.
go through.
And then I'd roll again. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you'd roll again.
So like,
But yeah, can I choose like not to use it if I have to spend the 2? Like because there's some instances where I can't, so that's gonna happen anyway.
yeah. So I guess my gut check here says that it forces you to, and then if you don't have the 2, it just deletes it.
But does it count as already having issued?
That's
Because
what I
you can
don't know
normally
either.
only
Yeah.
use one. Yeah, you can normally only use one at once, and if it like if you can't do it because it costs too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's really bizarre.
This is one of those things where I can see like comment section being like, one guy says like it undoubtedly works like this,
Oh
and
yeah.
then the
Oh
next
yeah.
guy
Yeah.
saying like without question it works the exact other way.
Yes.
But like
100% that's already happened. Yeah.
that's gonna happen for sure.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like I think it's obvious that like this needs an FAQ.
Yeah.
Even if there's like a rules as written explanation for this, like this kind of thing is like it's not obvious on the
Yeah.
surface. It needs an FAQ. The end. Yeah.
There's so many questions here.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna play that for a little bit.
And based on like what we just read, like I couldn't tell you rules as written.
Yeah, me
what
neither.
that does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, people are gonna say it's obviously one way or obviously the other.
Yeah.
I'm
I don't
curious
think
to see what the FAQ
those
is.
things are true.
Yeah.
I think that'll also depend on what faction they play.
Yeah.
Or it will shift the opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right, for sure.
Yeah.
Alright, Mighty Archangel we did, and then crafted from Beastbone. This is the one that I'm not so high on. So, how it does is, after this general has fought for the first time, at the start of each battle round, add 1 to the attack characteristic of the general's weapons for the rest of the battle. Maybe that's actually good on the Cavalos.
Yeah, it's just another Cavalos one though, right?
Yeah. So, like, you launch him in there, he has 5 attacks, and, like, if you get him in there as early as turn 1,
Yep.
he could get Um, yeah, if you somehow get him into combat on turn one on your turn and you started, you could get him up to +9 attacks,
Yeah,
which that's a lot. I guarantee
he
you
has to
though.
live that long though.
Yeah, I guarantee you that if, as soon as you put him in combat turn one and it's just him,
He's getting blown up.
yeah, because there's no way this book can Alpha Strike like that, right? And
Right.
like they're killing 7 wounds. Like
Yeah.
there's
Oh
no
yeah.
way they're not, right?
Yeah.
Or at least you hope so. Then you're winning that game anyway, right?
Yeah. If they don't, then yeah,
Yeah.
you've got the game in the bag. Yeah.
So like honestly, like I feel like you won't get into combat here until like turn 3 or 4 reasonably,
Right.
while you're protected with the rest of your army.
Yep.
And then you could get like +8 attacks. Or like plus probably like +6 is the most reasonable thing you're getting out of
I
this.
I don't even know if that's like quote reasonable because they're still in combat with something, so they're probably still dying, right?
Yeah.
Like otherwise, you're doing really good anyway. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
if they don't have any play to kill him off somehow,
I mean, I
being in
think
combat that much,
you got to be very careful with this, right? So you have to like
right?
put him into combat with shit that doesn't quite matter, and then
Yep.
have other things in combat with things that do matter. So they have to focus that, and he's just like
Right.
chipping away at screens.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's like, and then like by the end of the game, he's like an absolute beast.
Yeah, and then he'll take down the one thing that he needs to take down.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think there's some fun
Maybe.
here,
Yeah.
but
I think it's very interesting to try to play it
yeah.
and not like so powerful that you feel obliged to play it, so you can
hmm
play it if you want to, kind of thing.
And I want to catch this comment off before it happens too. You'll say that it also affects the horse. Mount traits don't, or command traits don't, because like the Deepkin one in the core rules, it says that the command traits don't affect the mount's attack characteristics.
That's right.
Yeah.
I
So.
was actually, funnily enough, going to ask that question.
Yep.
But yeah, that's right. I always forget that rule.
Which is, I hate it, but I get it. I don't get it
Yeah.
actually. No.
No, because like half the things, like almost everything else does affect it, but command traits specifically don't, and it's just weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's like,
Just make things consistent, because then I always am questioning. It's like, does it affect the mounts in this case? I don't remember,
yeah.
because I know there's an exception somewhere.
And it's like, I don't know.
And then like, yeah, and
Just
some
let
rules
you
say it
do the
doesn't
fun
affect the
thing with
mounts.
your unit, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And if you're like, man, if it's way too much for this to have a mount to also do this, then don't put it in the book.
Right.
Like you're writing the book, just be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel anyway.
Or just say this doesn't affect the mounts, so that we're always clear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If you wanted to do that, just say it, so that we don't need to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
Anyway.
yeah, it won't though, because mount traits don't. Let's see. And then the last two are like my two favorite in the book right now. Aura of Sterility. Subtract 1 from hit and wound rolls for attacks made with missile weapons that target Ossiarch Bonereaper units wholly within 12 inches of the general. Excuse me, what?
That's pretty good.
Right? That fucking
Yeah.
rules, man.
To be fair, against some armies it does nothing.
Sure.
But
like,
against
I
a
don't
lot of
know.
armies, it helps a lot.
Against like pure melee armies, I think you're happy to fight those.
That's
So you
fair.
could be
It's
like,
already what you're good at.
yeah. And like stuff like KO was like a problem for this book. And just have like your important shit in a 12-inch bubble of no.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. And
Did
it's
you
like,
run that against Zinch today?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
Because it doesn't really affect spells, which is fine.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
Oh, do the horrors not have a shooting attack anymore? Is it?
Oh, they do, but it's like 5s and 5s. Or
Oh, it's
4s and
just
5s, yeah.
garbage. Yeah. Okay.
But like, yeah, I tried really hard not to list Taylor. Because there's a
Yeah,
sub-faction I
I
could
do
bring against
too.
Siege, you know?
Yeah.
I'll tell you the two I played when we get to the sub-factions, but this is the command trait I tried today. And it's because I'm surrounded by Stonehorns everywhere I look. Diversionary Tactics. It's a 12-inch bubble of subtract 3 from charge rolls.
What?
So if you're within 12 inches of this general, -3 to your charge.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
followed exactly what it does.
Okay.
What?
That fucking rules, man.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah, this caused a lot of heartache today.
I can imagine it did.
Yeah, and like I get why, but
Yeah.
yeah, just like I gave him turn 2, and he made the charge with 2 out of his 3 units. And there's an FAQ I want too because I feel like it works just fine, and I think written is fine, but the terrain piece has a chance to give -3 to charge as well.
Oh, does it stack?
Yes, I believe. Yeah, right now it certainly stacks,
Yeah.
but -6 to charge. Like this guy is like 3 inches away, and he needs a 9.
Dude, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm bringing this one a lot.
I mean,
It keeps me
yeah,
safe.
I
Yeah.
would too. Like, what?
So which one you living at? Is that your favorite one? You think?
That's just so powerful. It's insane.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
beats
even know
you,
what to
man.
say.
Because you're
Like,
like, oh, I have my 10-inch charge, my 11-inch charge, my 10-inch charge. None of those make it now.
yeah, they literally can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I hate that. We just need to delete that one.
I like it. I want to be
You
safe.
would.
I want to hide in my little cozy bubble.
Dude, that's crazy.
It's crazy good. Yeah.
So,
Like that
so
might
why
be one
is
of the
it
best
why
command traits printed, period, right?
why is it not insane? Like, it is though, right? Like, I don't know.
It's army defining, I would say.
Because it's actually like 24 inches around this guy, right? Like in diameter.
Yeah.
It's not. You're like 12 inches is small. No, it's not. It's gigantic ass circle. That's
You
a
plant his
radius.
ass in the middle, yeah.
Yeah. And if it's a bigger base, the bigger the base, the bigger the range.
Yep. So I put it on the Leech Cavalos.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It rules.
Yeah, you just kind of put them near the center.
Yep.
And like they're not going to be able to charge him basically. Or
Yeah,
they're going
even
to
like
fail
3
like
inches
random
away.
charges that they
Yeah,
have no
like
business failing.
like
Yeah.
a 3-inch charge is failable.
Yeah,
And like
like
not
pretty easily failable.
yeah.
Yeah.
You get so much value out of a redeploy in here from this too.
Oh my god.
Right?
Yeah. I don't like that at all. I think that's actually super unhealthy for the game. That sounds fucking awful. Like, try to figure out how to play. Being any other army, try to figure out how to play against that. Like, I don't even know if you can.
Be faster, I guess. Yeah.
But be faster doesn't even do it, right? Like, it removes all consistency from your list. I don't know.
Yeah.
That is so powerful. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds way too powerful and just absolutely crazy to try to even think about how you're dealing with that.
I'm not even gonna like argue with you because I think you're right.
That's absolutely wild. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm taking that one every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a magic, like it's a stacks piece, right?
It's a what?
Like a stacks piece, like the things that are like, oh, opponent's stuff costs like 1 more to cast, or they can't. You're not allowed to
Oh,
cast
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
from anywhere other than this hand zone you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I think like it's gonna be a lot of heartache based on like that kind of feeling of like you're not allowed to do this.
Yeah, it's like you're not allowed to play your game now because your opponent said no.
Yeah.
Are you a freaking elf? Like, what the heck is going on?
No, we're better. I don't see elves doing anything like this.
Seriously.
Yeah. But man.
All right. Well, there we go. That is army defining for sure.
Yeah, I think
Wow.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
for
you just
sure.
take. I can't imagine a world where you don't take that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can imagine some worlds. Like I think if you're like drowning and shooting, and like our
Yeah.
sterility is probably much better for you. In that
Yeah,
context.
I suppose there is like certain lists. I don't know. Yeah, I guess those two, like depending on the meta that
Yeah.
you expect to see.
Because like
you
this
pick
game's
one of
about
those two,
charging, and the
go
games
for
that
it.
we play are about charging, right?
Yeah,
But if
but
we're
some
like
games aren't about charging.
yeah, if we're in a world where like it's defined by like the shooting armies, which is a lot of times in the meta.
Yeah,
Like I
Yeah, you
think
just-
our sterility is that level of
yeah, you just take
oppressiveness,
that
too.
one instead. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, agree.
Like these are some of the best command traits we've ever seen,
Yeah, agree.
like bar none.
Yeah,
And then you have some fair ones that are like actually really good, but like
you
then you have
probably
some
never run
really
them.
powerful
Yeah.
stacks pieces. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm living in diversionary tactics while I'm being surrounded by Stonehorns.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. I would be too.
Yeah. All
Maybe I'll
right.
play these Tomb Kings as these guys for a hot second, and
Yeah.
you know
That'll
we'll
be
do we'll
awesome.
we'll play in You Can't Charge Me land.
Yeah. Capital me.
Yeah.
Population me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that
All
goes.
right. Yep. Yep. That's something. All right. I'm glad you're excited about it.
Yeah.
We'll leave it there.
I don't know, like, because like that kind of thing is like it seems like so unhealthy for games. But then there's like games that are around that kind of effect, and they're actually pretty compelling too. But
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think the
I don't know.
difference is like in Magic between this is like you're not stuck fighting that person for 3 hours in Magic. You know,
Yeah. That's true.
hmm they have to be very careful with that kind of stuff. And like I could see it getting changed, I could see it not getting changed, but it's definitely book defining. I think.
I think it is. Yeah. I think just like the being able to charge or like off screen. That's a funny way to word that, but yeah, that's basically what I meant.
Yeah, off screen's a
Yeah.
funny. It sure is, Bill. Let's
Um.
see the relics. All right, we have four generic
Okay.
ones and four specific to a wizard.
Okay. All right.
So first
Because
one.
funnily enough, I was just about to say it's like, all right. So what are we giving this Leech Cavalos that you can't charge into now?
Weirdly enough, I think this is one of the weaker parts of this book.
Okay, so they kind of balance it that way ish.
Yeah. Imagine a world where those previous two things were relics, and you're just sitting. You can't shoot them. You can't charge them.
Oh yeah, right. Like that'd be
Yuck.
nuts.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. First one is add one to the ward rolls for the bearer. Cool.
Yeah, that's
Importantly
pretty good.
enough, it you can the things that modify wards, like give you a 5-up ward or a 4-up or whatever, that will
Mhm.
modify because it's just a ward.
Yep, I figured as much.
Yep. I just think it's important to mention.
Oh yeah,
Let's see. Actually, that might be really good. I didn't think of it, but it seems fine.
it seems like your Leech Cavalos can have a 4 board pretty easily, and effectively be 14 wounds.
Um, I don't think quite easily is the way I'd put it, but
Well, you give it to him and then you use the command trait anytime he's getting attacked, right? For which you have plenty of points to do.
oh yeah, because you could give
Isn't
them
it?
the 5
It is
up.
that easy, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, let's go
You have
back.
a
Let's make sure. What was it? It was impenetrable ranks for the purpose of the Deathless Warrior's battle trait. Yeah, I guess you do have a 4-up board on your Leech Cavalos. Okay.
yeah. That seems really strong.
All right. Yeah, I didn't
Not
even think
only
of it
can
that
he
way.
not really get charged by everybody, but also it's really hard to kill him, so he like keeps sticking around to do it again the next turn.
Yeah, so maybe that gaining attacks command trait ain't so bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I'm not
yes and
taking
no.
it because I'm taking the
Yeah,
yeah
because you're taking the other ones,
diversionary
but
tactics. Yeah.
yeah, I think you are anyway. But yeah, no, I mean, in a world where that's maybe like a -2 to charge or -1 to charge
Yeah.
after an FAQ or something, which may or may not come. Maybe it turns out that that thing's fair. I don't know.
I think it's fair, but
We'll
we'll
see.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, my gut check is that it's book defining, but I don't think it's ultimately broken.
Yeah. And I mean, if everything else is balanced around it enough, like, that's
Yeah.
fine too. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. The next one, the Marrow Pact. This one's kind of cool. So, each time the bearer fights, after all of its attacks been resolved, you can heal up to a number of wounds allocated to the bearer equal to the number of wounds and mortal wounds caused by those attacks that were allocated to the enemy unit. You just heal equal to the damage you deal.
Okay. That's easy enough.
Yeah. I tried this one today. I didn't really get a good window to see how much it did. Because the 2 times that he was attacked and didn't get... He died in one shot, or he didn't take any damage.
Yeah, that's the thing with healing abilities is that those two cases happen a lot.
Yep.
So healing abilities are kind of weird
Yeah.
in this game, I think. Yeah.
So I wanted to I want to try that one a little bit more because I feel like there's a world where that's super powerful.
Yeah.
But
I do wonder like with most healing abilities, like they have to be on the right thing, right?
yeah,
To be able to take a hit reliably, to be able to like get use out of it.
that's true. Yeah.
So I don't know. Depends if you have something like that that's
Yeah.
worth using
I'm
or
gonna
not.
play around with this a little more, but I think you're ultimately right. This is in like weirdo territory
Yeah.
of like if all the stars align, it's gonna do something. But
Yeah,
that's
it's what
just
it
not
feels
how it
like.
works. Yeah.
Like I'm curious like how many games you actually like see value out of it.
Yeah. Me too. I'm kind of fascinated by that kind of thing, but we'll see.
Because the other thing is like, if because the other thing to keep track of, weirdly, is like if you heal up, but then they would overkill the amount you healed anyway. Like that also doesn't count as any value out of
Yeah.
it. So yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
I don't know.
Mind Blade. This one's weird. So, pick one of the melee weapons. At the end of the combat phase, if any wounds or mortal wounds caused by an attack made with that weapon were allocated to an enemy hero in that phase, and that hero was not slain, the hero cannot carry out heroic actions for the rest of the battle. For me, that's a weird but pass.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like it's
Yeah,
an
that doesn't
interesting
sound
design
well.
space, but
Yeah, they're trying something new with that one, but someone was like, "Oh, look at how clever this one is."
yeah,
Yeah, and they got into the book. But yeah, I think just pass.
yeah. Like I don't like. What's the world where this is good, right?
I
Because
don't
like
know.
you need to hit something like a monster hero with like a bunch of wounds, right? That you know
Yep.
you're not going to be able to kill, and you
Right.
want to like shut off like their finest hour, and then your Cavalos dies in the Counter Strike, you know? So like, I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was just weird.
Yep.
They're playing with a new space, but I don't think it's. I don't think that's.
It's not gonna pay out. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's the option. Yeah, that you
Hmm.
want to use.
All right. And then the last generic one is the Helm of Tyranny. Enemy units cannot receive inspiring presence while they're within 3 inches of the bearer. In addition, if they fail battle shock within 3 inches of the bearer, they lose an additional D3 models.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Yep.
Yeah, I
And
kind of like those.
yeah, that being said, though, like playing Legion of Blood for as long as I have, playing like Horrorghast and stuff like that, I rarely see that happen.
Yeah,
But like shutting off Inspiring Presence, like there's power to that. I'm not gonna lie, I've seen it be really good in Night Hunt, but I don't know. I'm not into this yet.
yeah. Then I think the this would be more relevant if damage values were lower in this game, right?
Yeah,
So like as it is, you very often just wipe a unit when you
yeah,
attack them, right?
exactly.
To the point where it's like it just doesn't happen. You just battle shock just isn't relevant enough.
Yeah,
You either like do no damage or yeah. So
and this is one of those where it's like, oh, but if you do like chip damage to a bunch of crap, and then like you force them all to fail the bravery, and then you can like kill so many extra models that way.
yeah,
And it's like I'm glad that like all of your like super villain plans line up. Mine don't like that.
yeah. No, mine never do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also like if you do a bunch of chip damage to stuff that's got a high enough bravery, they uh they just pass their battle shock tests.
Yeah.
And it still did nothing.
Yeah, that's happened to me way too many times.
Yeah. Where it's like, oh I did it, look, you can possibly fail this, and then they're like, I didn't. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
alright.
Exactly, yeah. And like somebody's gonna be like, oh, but you could do this with the horror gas to make them lose 2d3. But it's just like the way I see this kind of effect, it's like an insurance policy, right? I feel like if you're putting your everything into like trying to kill something,
Yeah. And you
and they
just
save by
barely
like
don't.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then it will get them.
Yep.
But like sometimes that's a good enough effect. Like I've seen it in Night Haunt do enough stuff for me too. So, but like I don't know if that's worth a command trait necessarily, or not a
Right.
command trait, an artifact.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like when a war scroll has it, you're like, all right, let's go, man.
Yeah, if it's just like innate. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my type. That's my take on it anyway.
Yep. Yeah, if it's added on something that you were gonna use anyway, feels great.
Mm-hmm.
Say hello to Lifelink. Yep.
Yep.
If people don't get that reference, it's
Play
Magic
Vic.
reference. Yeah. It's basically I don't want to play life gain in Magic, like just straight life gain, but if it's incidentally tacked onto something, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah. Like you're paying you're playing your artifact slot to take something like that.
Yeah.
But if there's
Exactly.
like a unit that like did other good things
Yeah.
and then had that tacked on, like what we'll talk about next show, for example, spoiler,
Mm-hmm.
like
Spoiler. Yeah.
it'll rule. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We beat that one to death.
Yep.
All right, Treasure of the Mortarch. So there's four Mortison Priest Wizards, and they each get a special artifact. This first one is the Lumen Scythe, and it's for the Soul Reaper. And you get subtract 1 from hit and wound rolls for attacks that target this wizard within 3. So if you're in combat, you get -1 to hit and wound on you, which that's a pretty good effect.
Yeah.
I don't want to discredit that any, but we'll see when we talk about the Soul Reaper how often we think we're going to be taking that. It was. I don't think I ever brought it in the last book. I don't think that's changing, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm convinced. I want to see what you think too before I say no, it's bad. You know. So we'll talk about it when we get there.
It's just like the guy's not usually in combat, right? So it doesn't do much.
The thing is, it's like he's designed to be in combat, but he's a foot wizard, you know. So I don't think he's good at it.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's my problem. Yeah.
It's that weird design space where they're like, oh look, battle mages, but they're not good at anything most of the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my fear with this unit, but we'll see.
It's usually true, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. And like, there's the Night Haunt relic that like I tell you is the best one in that book, but the difference there is it gives everything within 3 inches -1 to wound. Period. Not first this guy.
Yeah.
So it's a lot better.
Wildly different. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. And like if this was like -1 to hit and wound, period, it's like, okay, this guy's coming in my list now. I don't care what else he does. His job is to hold this with like a white knuckle grip, right?
Yep.
But no. Okay. Let's see. What's next? Artisan's Key. This one rules. So the Bone Shaper has like the ability to return 3 models or 3 wounds to a unit, or it's like 3 wounds worth of models.
Yep.
And on a 3-up, you get to do that twice.
That's pretty sweet.
Yep. It was in the old book. I took it a lot there. I'm going to take it a lot here. This is probably my go-to artifact, to be honest. I don't... Yeah, there's not much more to say about that, but it's really good. Yeah.
Sounds really good. Yeah. You can potentially double your thing.
Mm-hmm. This one's silly. Soul Mason, the guy in the chair. Each time he casts a spell and is not unbound, add 1 to the attack characteristic of the occupied clause until the end of turn. So that attack that you're buffing is a 3-up, 3-up, -1 damage. And he is a 2-cast wizard with the potential to cast up to 5 spells, but you're probably casting... You're being able to cast 3 on average.
Pass.
So, yeah, pass. Like, if something's a plus...
He's got a 5-up save too, right? I assume?
Not anymore.
Still? Not anymore? He went up to 4?
He went up to 4.
Wow, look at him. How exciting.
He actually... He got a glow up, you know?
Oh, that's good.
He pulled his head out of his ass in college.
Does he have 6 wounds?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't quite remember, but yeah.
Slow as dirt?
Yeah. Exactly.
Pass.
It's just, like, this is so hard of a pass, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of fun that they had, like, a payoff for casting a bunch of spells on one guy.
Yeah, but they didn't make it what he does.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Sometimes they do weird things like that, where they're like, "Look, we'll buff the thing that they're bad at." It's
Yeah,
like,
to make
yeah,
them okay
but
at it.
they're
Yeah.
still bad at it, so I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then the last one is the Ossifictor, which is the new hero, and it's a 9-inch bubble of +1 to wound.
Oh, that sounds real good.
Yep.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. To me, like Ossifictor is like a very niche unit, but that like brings him into territory of like, okay, he's just generically good.
Yeah, because they gave him a thing that's like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that being said, I still think my first pick is the Artisan's Key for the double tap on the return models.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah. No, that still sounds really good. But this
Yeah.
one, just like, if you want to run that guy, I mean, you basically are just making him a, what's that unit called
Nighthawk.
in Night? No. Isn't it in the -1 to wound in a 9-inch bubble? Isn't that just a unit that exists in Soulblight Gravelords?
Oh, the corpse card.
Yeah, Corpse Guard.
Yeah, which
Isn't that literally
that one's
exactly that
dead
ability?
actually. No, it's not
Oh, okay.
-1 to wound. It's +1 for your guys to wound.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay. I thought it was.
No,
Yeah,
this
never mind.
Ossifactor has that. The corpse card.
Did
was
I
-1.
just totally hear you wrong?
Yes.
Oh, I just totally heard you wrong. Okay, never
Yeah.
mind. That's
Yeah, this
still
is a
really
buff.
good though.
Yeah, that's still
Yeah, okay,
awesome.
okay.
Yeah.
No, it's still really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so this makes the Ossifactor alone super interesting.
Yeah. Agree.
But overall, I think there's 3 really good artifacts here. But like
Yeah.
one of them is like 2 of them are forced to a specific hero. And it depends on your list if you're bringing them or not. Except for Bone Shaper, you're probably always bringing. And then I don't super care about the 5-up ward or the +1 ward unless I'm bringing like a Leech Cavalos. Either.
Yeah. I think there's play there though, where you make him basically a 4-up ward most of the time.
Yeah.
And stop their charges and stuff like that. And
Yeah, to me it seems fine, right?
yeah, no, I think that's probably what I would try most of the time. But
Yeah. It reminds me of what's that guy in Lumina? The Lord Regent. With just the 4-up ward hanging around.
yeah,
Yeah.
who is that?
I think it's just Lord Regent, right?
Oh, Lord Regent. Why can't I think of this guy at all?
Minari. He's like the guy on the
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
the
yes,
llama
yes,
rider.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I was to play it, this would be my guy for it.
Oh, he's very
I printed
cool.
him. I printed him too small
Oh, okay.
because he's honestly quite tiny. Like I guess it's kind of hard to see. But
Yeah. For somebody who's
like,
supposed to be on an 80mm.
yeah, like I don't think he's big enough.
No. But
But
we'll do it again.
Yeah, just reprint.
Yeah. We'll make that one a statue or
50%
some
bigger or
shit.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just like they have a generic unit for that too, so I may just like add him to that unit or something.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I was thinking of doing like the heroes just like a little bit bigger than everybody else, generically.
Oh,
Because they
okay.
usually make them like roughly the same size. So just like hero size them a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Anyway.
do the things that they do in RPGs and make the important guys massive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. I like it. Overall, like we have a couple good artifacts, but I still think it's like the weaker part of the book compared to some of the other stuff.
Oh,
Like
sure.
those command traits are wow, you know?
Those two are too wow. Okay. Oh, so I thought of to me what makes it feel worse to play against, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, so like if you give someone -1 to hit, -1 to wound, right? Something like that. You can just kind of mentally calculate like how much damage you got reduced, and it's just going to be usually a percent difference, right? Like, okay, I would have done 5 damage. Now I'm going to do 3 damage, right?
Yeah.
But you're still going to probably do some damage. Whereas the minus charge is basically like I'm going to do some damage or I'm going to do 0 damage.
So if it said
It's just
something
so
like
swingy there.
if you made a charge within 12 inches of this guy, on that phase you have -1 to wound, you'd rather that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather like know that I'm going to be able to make the charge, and then like there's just going to be like a percent difference in like the amount of damage I do rather than all or nothing. And that's an all or nothing ability, and that's what I think feels really bad there.
You know,
Playing
I'll give
against
you
that
that.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fight you there. You're right. That's what's stinky about it. I get it.
Yeah. But it's very powerful.
Mhm.
And it'll be fun for the people playing it, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
I'm not trying to make you sad, Alex. Don't be sad.
Yeah.
It's a good book. It's a good ability.
Just let me have it for like a minute, all right?
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry. Yeah. I get why it's frustrating. I really do.
Yeah. But it is certifiably powerful.
Yeah. All right. Want to talk about these spells now?
Let's do it.
A lot of them are the same, but some nice quality of life stuff. Empower Nadirite weapons, casting value 5. Nadirite weapons works on a 5 instead of a 6 for that unit.
Okay.
That's great. I think 24-inch range, so wholly within 24. That's very generous for a buff. And then, the important thing to note too is like it used to just like buff your Mortec damage a little bit, but now like it could be on anybody, and it makes like Immortus Guard and Stalkers like horrifying, right?
Oh, I'm sure it does.
Yeah. So that's a great change. Protection of Nagash. So it lost the 5 up ward part of it, casting on a 6, but it still works the same way. Like at the end of any phase where it takes damage, you can pop it off the table and deploy it on the table anywhere outside of 9 of enemies. But the 5 up ward part's gone. But like you have that in your command ability or your allegiance ability, so it's fine, right?
Right. Yeah.
So okay, cast on the 6, put it on the caster. That's fine.
Yeah.
This one is a little new, but it's like so they had a thing that like gave you 5 up wards to mortals on your shields units. So like only Mortec Guard and Necropolis Stalker, or not Immortus Guard and Leech Cavalos. But now it's just you pick a unit with an 18, it has a 4 up ward to mortals. Anybody can have it.
Wait.
Yeah. 4 up ward to mortals, like I like that effect a lot too.
Yeah.
And like you have a couple lore masters in this book, so it's like it's situationally good. But you have heroes that know everything, so like you're gonna have it in that situation every time. Yeah.
Yep.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I like when the toolbox spells like this that you would never take just because like you just can incidentally have them.
Yeah.
Then it feels so much better. Yeah, because you can like be smart about things and be like, oh, this is the perfect army to use this against, and I remember I have it. Yada yada yada.
Yep.
Yep.
It rules. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. My favorite spell changed. Drain Vitality. It used to be you give an enemy reroll 6s to hit and save, and now it's just subtract 1 from hit and saves. So, I think most situations that's just flat better, right?
What was the difference? What was the original again?
Reroll 6s to hit and save.
Subtract 1, reroll.
Right, because the base math is
a
1 in 6 to
better.
Change it to possibly a fail to a 1 in 6 to make it guaranteed a fail.
Yep.
And -1 save, like we've seen in a lot of books, is an extremely potent debuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Tied with a -1 to hit too. Like,
yep.
That's great.
Oh no, yeah, that's super powerful.
That being
and it cleans it up a lot from the reroll 6s because rerolling, like remembering to tell someone to reroll 6s is annoying, but just being like -1.
Well, like even if like they know it, like it's time consuming to pull out the 6s, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And like I'm not saying that's a bad design at all. But like it does clean up the game a little bit too to make it faster.
Yeah.
And like picking up 6s is something that you should do for like a buff, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna add time to the game, it should be fun.
You want to see it. Yeah, you want to see the 6s as opposed to like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That being said, there is like something notable here where it used to basically stop like on 6s do a mortal wound kind of effects, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like that doesn't work anymore.
I think that's even good.
Yeah, I would say that's even good. Yeah.
Because that like, because it's like the weird like, not only am I like making your game longer, but I'm like then
neutering.
there's like the rules question, of like, oh wait, do I still get it? Do I not? And if you know the answer, even if you know the answer, it's like it's taking time to like
Explain it.
sort that out,
Yeah.
explain it, and then be like, and then it was like, oh, so I don't get my buff randomly. It's like that sucks, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So
like that thing alone made it like a very hard matchup for Daughters of Cain, weirdly.
yeah.
Because like they have this one unit that they rely on all their sixes to mortal wounds to do damage. It's
Mm-hmm.
a 24-inch range with Arc on the black because it was like +6 range with him.
Yep.
So like you can't really hide from it, and then he just tells you no.
Yeah.
This unit doesn't do damage. Sorry. You know? So like I
Yeah.
think it's reasonable the way it's written that it doesn't shut off the sixes. That being said, like if there was a spell that just said like sixes to hit don't do shit, like that's a fine design space, but it shouldn't be like a byproduct of like a damage debuff already, you know?
Right.
And then that would be like very niche anyway, too. So like, there's pros
Yeah,
and cons to that, right?
yeah, I think, yeah, I think this is the better place to explore design wise.
Yeah, I like it, and it's still like giving something -1 to save is still massive.
Right. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
in a book that you can also get rent,
Yeah, exactly. Like
right? Like,
you can seriously just plow through saves with this.
yeah, like your War Scroll says rend too, like, and then you put those two things on it. Like, there's nothing.
There's nothing that's standing through that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, within reason.
within reason, yeah. But even like
Yeah.
something's like a base 2 up, like you're,
Yeah.
yeah, like you're actually punching through protectors at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
It is.
Yeah, like I mean, they're still getting like a 3 up save to that, but something that's like historically like a 2 up unrendable
Yeah.
in
It's
practice, yeah,
still. Yeah.
powerful stuff.
Yep.
And then Mortal Contract's like exactly the same. 18-inch range, casting value 7. Pick an enemy unit. Whenever they fight on a 3 up, they take D3 mortal wounds. That's probably still sitting in the bookshelf for me, to be honest. But
Dude, I don't know how they figure out their casting values to power ratio.
right, like this is a 7, and Mystic Shield's like a 5.
Yeah, I have no idea.
It's like the same people doing that are the same people like pricing endless spells. But like historically, like it's always completely inverted how much they should cost.
Yeah, they're like damage spell cost a lot.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this
Support
thing that does
spell
like
not a lot.
D6 damage on a 3 up, like that's 60. Like, oh, this thing that gives you +3 to run and or move and charge, 30. All right, cool.
Like,
What are you doing over there, man?
yeah, I just have no idea.
Oh well, I never liked that one, and it's kind of cute, but like it's just collateral paperwork,
Yeah.
annoying.
Yep. It's not doing enough to make it to make it worth doing the paperwork for it.
Yep.
Like that's one of those things where it's like if it's doing enough, like yeah, I'll do the paperwork for it. But if it's not, if it's barely doing anything, it's like I don't want the extra paperwork.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then let's see, Soul Release. This is a brand new spell. So we lost Arcane Command, which gave us extra Relentless Discipline points.
Don't need those.
Don't need them. And also, like, I feel like if you're getting 9 and then getting D3 more, that's egregious. Not egregious, like, excessive, right? It's like,
Yeah,
what are you
it's just
doing with
like
all these?
it's like you don't need it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, yeah, I'm glad that's gone. That's a reasonable choice.
Yep.
What does Soul Release do, though? Casting value 5. Till your next hero phase, enemy reserve units and enemy summon units cannot be set up within 12 inches of the caster. The range of the spell must be measured from the caster, even if an ability would allow you to measure from elsewhere.
Thank God they added that last bit in.
Yeah, because can you imagine like the mirror?
I wouldn't have even thought of it, but like, thank God they did.
Yeah. That's a pretty niche but pretty good spell, I think.
It feels very niche.
Yeah. There's enough
Yeah.
armies where it's like you're probably gonna get some value out of this on a lore master.
Yeah.
I would never like
exactly.
mainboard this, but like it's a cool
Right.
tool to have.
Yep. Yeah. Lore masters like this.
Yeah, it's so funny to me too because like I'm talking to like some Stormcast players or like listening to them on Twitter and stuff. and they're like, "This is the end of our book. We can't win. Like, we just lose to this rule." And
I
it's like,
mean,
I don't know, man. Like, you have an arsenal of like 77 war scrolls. Like, maybe you just bring the shooting unit and shoot this thing dead.
yeah,
Or maybe, I don't know, you bring your wizard that automatically dispels a spell.
yeah, it's like it can still fail.
Yeah, it could still fail. You could still unbind it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's a little ham-fisted. Of like, there's nothing we could do to this.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me though. Like, you
I mean,
Stormcast players,
also
man, like anything gets in
like
your way, it's the end of your book, huh?
you attack something else. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, within 12 of the cast, I mean that's a pretty wide bubble, but you already usually have to be outside of 9, so it's like it's actually only like the only things you are protecting are like anything within 3 inches of it, right?
yeah,
So like everything else you can do basically exactly what you meant to do. I guess okay, you can have the 7 inch with the annihilators, I guess. So it busted out to 5. All
yeah.
right.
And Soul Blight has a different range too, but I don't want to like spoil too much of that book.
Oh, sure. But yeah, for like Stormcast specifically, it's like
Sure.
okay. So you're protecting guys 5 inches around him. Now that's all that does.
Yeah,
That's it.
and like he's
I,
got to be like at the edge of something to make it that relevant too,
yeah,
because the
it's not
wizard's
like you
usually
can
like
target
3
something
inches
else.
in anyway, and then
Yeah,
it does
exactly.
actual nothing.
Right.
So you have to like get this off and then like forward deploy him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. I'm
You'll
not
find
too.
a way to move on. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah. But
I
yeah.
suppose you could put him at the edge, though, right? You could put him at the edge, and then you fail it, and then they're like, bam, dead instantly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like that's like there's value here, right? I'm not gonna say there's not,
Sure, yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't think it's unbeatable by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I don't think so either. He may cause you to change your plans a little bit, but
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Cool. Let's talk about the legions. Yeah. Last book we had one that we got to pick, right? And that was
Yes,
it.
that was
Now
it.
we have 6.
Dang.
Yeah. And I'm actually like pretty high on a few of these. So like I'm very excited to try a bunch of different lists, different things.
Cool.
First one, Mortis Praetorians.
All
This
right, the
rules.
poster childs.
Yep. This rule seems pretty crazy to me. Once per turn, during your enemy charge phase, after an enemy unit finishes a charge move, you can pick one friendly Mortis Praetorian unit within 12 inches of that enemy unit and more than 3 inches from all enemy units. That unit can attempt a charge.
Wow.
Right? So it's like all the charges happen before combat starts. This guy's like, wait for me. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Let me in.
That's a very defensive ability, honestly. Which is kind
Yeah.
of weird, but yeah, that's pretty wild.
Like the way I see it is like you have like a relatively slow book too. And then you can retreat and charge. So like this is like cheating movement.
Right.
And like if there's like an objective that you don't want them to take, and they just
Yep.
like
You can
put
charge
guys
onto
near it,
it.
you just charge onto it. Yeah.
Yep.
And then like or like stalkers are nearby, and then they're like, okay, I need to like take this
I
from
need
you.
to.
I countercharge you with it, right?
Yeah. Or it's like, oh, you get the like, oh, I want to charge this guy, but make sure I don't bring the stalkers in or something. It's like,
Yeah.
well, that's tough because they're charging you.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to be like outside of like 12
Yeah.
and not even have a chance of that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. This seems like pretty skill intensive, I'll be honest, to use properly.
Oh, sure.
But that's
Yeah.
definitely a powerful tool. I
Oh,
haven't
yeah.
tried it yet, so I don't quite know how exactly good that is, but that's tempting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is that third rail breaking at all? I don't know.
Third rail breaking.
Like, you know how like the corn book, like you can just like spend 1 point, put 3 guys in combat in a move phase. There's nothing they can do about it, you know?
Oh, I
Or like
see.
the goblins that can hold the objective at 9 inches. It's like this is how the game works, and this like throws out
And
how
this is
we
like,
thought.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I definitely think it is.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see how
It's a
this
very
plays out.
yeah, it's a wildly different rule. Yeah, that one sounds really good though.
Yeah. Next one, Petrifex Elite. You know how we always make the joke of like this faction's fucked. Like it was
Oh my
so
goodness.
good and they overcorrect all the time.
Oh yeah.
So
What they do.
guess what this does.
Plus on
So
all stays.
so Petrifex Elite Hecatos and Gothazar Harvester units. So that means like Stalkers, Immortus Guard, Morghasts, and Harvesters. Those units. Subtract 1 from the damage inflicted by each successful attack that targets those.
Petrifex Elite Hecatos.
Yep.
Which one are the Elite Hecatos? Those are the Stalkers and
Stalkers,
Morse
Immortus
Guard?
Guard, Morghasts, both varieties, and then Gothazar Harvesters. -1 damage.
That sounds very good.
I didn't try this because it's like obviously good. I wanted to try some of the other ones I wasn't sure about.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I was playing a game today where it's like, Jesus. Like, I don't know if I could lose if I had this.
Yeah.
Like, that's so much defense.
Yeah. Wow. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Still good.
Are we living in that world again? Oh boy.
Um, I like that it's very narrow on like the units that can take it. Granted,
Yeah,
those
it's
units are
true.
good, but
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the thing with like being like, oh, but it's narrow scope. Yeah, but if they're all really good, like
mhm,
then you just picked all the units you're gonna see for the next, few years.
that's fair. Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know.
I think there's going to be more options than this. I think this is
Oh,
certainly a good
yeah, which is
one.
great.
Yeah,
Yep.
I Mortis Praetorians might be better, just because of like that movement. Like movement wins games, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And like that's like such a good range of motion. But
I mean, not being able to move your opponent's guys probably loses you games though.
yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah, this one seems like I really like the big guys. I want to play the big guys. Here's the big guys. I'm like, you
yep.
got it, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
Yep, that's fun. That's
Yep.
a very good rule.
Yes.
All right, Staliarch Lords. I think this is my least favorite one. And it's mounted.
Again?
I mean,
I'm joking.
yeah, army wide or like run in charge was really good. What does it
Yeah.
do now? So, yeah, you can reroll charge rolls for friendly Staliarch Lords units that have a mount. Your Liege Cavalos, Archon the Black, and Cavalos Death Riders. And I guess the chair guy can reroll their charges.
The chair guy thing counts as a mount.
Yep.
Chair counts as a mount. Oh, that's
Yeah,
funny.
so he's not a Galatian he's not a Galatian champion because that chair counts as a mount.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Yep.
That is really bizarre.
Yeah. But you know what? Like rerolling charges, that's like fine, right?
That's fine. It's not exciting though.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get a ton of value out of that.
No.
Yeah, I stand by this one being my least favorite one. I'll probably never run this.
Yeah. Yep, agree.
And it's I think what the intent was too is when we talk about like the Cavalos stuff, their rule is like they do impact charges based on their charge roll. So I think the idea is like you're fishing for a higher number there.
Sure, yeah.
But I think your real hammers are not the horses at all.
Yeah.
All right, and let's talk about like what was previously the worst subfaction in the game. What did they get? Ivory Host. Add 1 to the number of hits scored by the Nadirite weapon battle trait by friendly Ivory Host units if the unmodified hit roll was a 6 and any wounds or mortal wounds were allocated to that unit earlier this turn. Oh, I was playing this wrong. Okay. So if they take damage, they have exploding, or they have 3 hits on 6s instead of 2s.
Okay, yeah. How are you playing it, out of curiosity?
I thought you had to deal damage to the unit that you were fighting previously in the turn.
Oh, so you kind of had it a little backwards.
Yeah. Now that I'm reading that, it's clearly they have to take damage. Okay.
Mhm.
So I found like it was really hard to like trigger that when they had to take damage previously, because like you don't have a ton of shooting in this book, and like you
Right,
had to
right.
hit things with spells. But actually, no. So this means like as long as you're not like the first fighting, or I guess if they unleash hell on you, and then you fight first with that unit, you're getting exploding threes. Like that's
Or
powerful, right? Or
exploding sixes that are
three
that
hits. Yeah,
triple. Right. Yeah.
that's
Okay.
what I
Okay.
meant. Yeah, triple
Yeah.
explodes
Yeah.
then. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but like I don't know. That still seems like kind of hard to do. But like the damage is there if it does work out for you.
Right.
I'm just trying to
Yeah.
think of other ways to trigger it other than like letting you get struck first in combat or unleash hell. Oh, I guess if there's like if you're playing with the scenery rules and you have a damned scenery, please, and then you take the damned rules to take the +1 hit, then you're also getting that.
Is this adding enough damage that it's worth jumping through these hoops?
Yeah, and I guess the other thing too is you're not. Let me. How am I trying to say? So if you put the Empower Nadirite weapons, like the designer note says right there, you're not getting 3 hits on 5s either,
Right.
which you certainly would be jumping through enough hoops if you're getting that too.
Yeah, but you don't.
But you don't, right?
Yeah.
So it's certainly highly improved from -1 save.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't
You
impressed
want
when
to
I played
debuff
this.
yourself, or do you want to play the game?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not huge on this one.
No, I don't think it does enough.
Like
So,
I don't know. Like I feel like if it just worked, like if it just that you have 6s or 3 hits, that's bottom line it, right?
like, I still might not take it.
You don't think so?
Like, no, I know, like, I might, but like, there's still other options that I might take over it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm not like, oh my god, what a world beater,
yeah,
right? Like, yeah, it would feel good, but it wouldn't be the end of the world. I think.
yeah.
Like, they could have done it, and it probably wouldn't have gotten FAQ'd worse.
No,
Is
exactly.
I
Yeah.
guess what I'm saying.
Like
Yeah.
I think they
Right.
put too much of a catch. Like they just want the lore of like you take damage and like you go beast mode.
Yeah.
Like, just make them beast mode. What do you mean?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it just seems a little ham-fisted.
Yeah. They tried too hard on that one. It feels like.
Yeah.
At least it's better than it was. Like, holy crap! Like the other ability was
Like there's
was
something to
stupid.
this, right?
But yeah, it's like yeah, okay.
It's like
I
if
get
you
what you're
charge
going
me
for.
and you don't kill me because you're not gonna kill me because I'm OBR, right?
Right.
Like I get to hit you for a lot back.
Yeah.
But it's not even like a crazy amount too. And it's like there's a chance it just doesn't happen. Because it's like if you, I've rolled plenty of times where I didn't get a single 6, you know?
Oh yeah. So like on an average attack with like like a normal smallish unit, like what are you getting? Like 1 or 2 extra hits?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. That's not much.
It doesn't feel good enough, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's after, and then like you're kind of jumping through hoops, so it's like only when you're like would have the only times it like is really actually a bonus is when they would have hit you
Yeah.
first anyway, right? Because if
Yeah.
you're jumping through hoops to get to this ability, then you're just losing guys that would have just gotten attacks that probably equal out to be
Yeah, so
about
you're
the same
probably
bonus you're
actively
getting.
debuffing your damage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, to like try to get this to work.
Right.
Or it's just like
Nice.
I guess it's nice if you're getting charged. And you're like, well, I get more damage for getting charged. Or if you know they're gonna unleash hell you, like you're gonna get damage out of that. But like, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's only situations like that where it's like it would have happened anyway that you can even count. But like as soon as you start trying to make it happen, you're probably just debuffing yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you can just make stuff that just happens, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, like I countercharge your whole unit. Yeah. Or I take -1 damage on my important stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like I don't know.
All
I feel
right.
like we talk about like the ones that are bad so much more explaining all the reasons why they're bad.
Yeah, and maybe we should talk a little bit more
The
why the
good
other ones
ones.
are so good.
I mean, I guess those are sometimes very obvious why they're so good.
Yeah, it's just like the other one is like, why is that good? I don't know. Taking -1 damage when the majority of like high damage stuff is damage 2.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, like
yeah,
obviously that's good, right?
it seems like it. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like you always have to justify when you're like, this is bad because, like, I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah. You know what we could do is like when we're done, we can talk about our favorite one and why, and
yeah,
then maybe explain more why we think that one's the best one.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm into that. Let's see. And then the last two. This one's polarizing. Null Myriad. Roll a dice each time a friendly Null Myriad unit wholly within 9 inches of a Myriad Mortison or a friendly Archon is affected by a spell cast by an enemy unit or the abilities of an endless spell summoned by the enemy unit. On a 2-up, ignore the effect of that spell or endless spell. What do you think?
I mean, it's kind of like the corn abilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly like them, even. And
But on like a lot more.
on a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot easier to have happen. So it's just, yeah, I think polarizing is exactly what you're saying. It's
Yeah.
just, against, like, Zinch, yeah, oops, you just win.
Yeah.
Like, what can they even do?
I guess bring shooting in a world where you're not in the where you don't need like a sharpshooter to hit the heroes. But then they have a unit that's like a 2-up like bodyguard, so like that doesn't even work. Right?
Yeah, like, it just, like, literally just kills Zinch, right? Like, straight up, right? Like,
Yeah.
they can't do anything to you anymore.
Yeah, but like not even like there's not even like enough armies that this like straight up kills to be like
Yes,
worth it to take in a tournament setting. Maybe in like in
yes,
a
you
teams event where like you can pick your matchups. And you're like, oh, well, you have a spellcaster. Here, take Null Myriad and die. Right?
yeah.
It's so rude. Yeah. I don't like
I don't,
that.
yeah, no, this just feels like, yeah, this is just so, like, either it does almost nothing, and
Or it
why
does
did you bring it?
way too much.
Or it's like, oops, I took this against you. Oh, I guess I win. And then
Yeah.
you, like, why are you spending 3 hours to play a game? Because, like, you already basically won the game.
Yeah, like I played against
I don't
each
know.
today and I'm like, oh, if I get to build my list, I could just pick that one and
Yeah,
like
and just the
tell him to go
game's
fuck
already over.
himself, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, who has fun there?
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know. I liked our solution where it was like the spell ignore and then +1 to cast, so there's like a reason to take it outside the spell ignore, you know?
right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
this one feels really bad. Because, like, you know, like, someone's gonna bring this in a tournament, and, like, those random, like, Lumineth players and Zinch players that get paired up, it's like, why did I just lose? It's
yeah.
like,
Why
It's
did
like,
they
why
print
did this
that?
happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not into it.
Nope.
I do not like
Don't like
that.
it. Nope.
Yeah, they could have done better.
It's undeniably good against armies that it's good against,
Yeah.
but, like, it's too good.
Well, it'll win you
And
the
then
game against those armies. Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely.
and then others, it's just literally nothing. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Unless I just roll like ones all day. And that's extremely tilting in the other degree, right?
Right. Yeah, like, there's no, like, no one's having fun with this ability.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the last one. Crematorians. So,
Oh, are they interesting? Because I like their concept.
you know what's
Let's-
funny? Null Myriad's my favorite one in the lore, but like, nope.
Yeah,
I don't get to do it because it's too good or not anything.
these guys are my favorite in the lore.
Yeah, I like them a lot too. So, each time a friendly crematorian model is slain, before removing that model from play, you can pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of it and roll a number of dice equal to the wounds characteristic for that model. Each 5 up, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound.
Yeah, they just explode.
They
And they
just
do it good.
explode, and it's based on the wound count,
Yeah,
and it's within
You can,
3
like-
inches. So
you can, like, run big things. You can pretty much run anything.
yep.
And then just, like, you boom and they take damage.
So I think the gut instinct is to run like a ton of Mortek Guard, and then like return it with a Harvester, and
Yeah.
then have them boom and stuff, and like that's great, and I think you're gonna do that too. But I think one thing to note too is the most wound efficient thing in this book is the Cavalos Death Riders, who are 15 wounds for 170 points,
Oh my goodness.
and Mortek Guard are 150 points for 10 wounds. So I think you're getting more boom off of Cavalos Death Riders per your buck.
That's very interesting.
Which granted though too, like you're not
You have to,
returning
like,
them way easier like you are with the Mortek Guard. Like they're just like popping
Sure.
up all over the place, right?
Yeah.
That being
But like you'll
said,
probably run some of them. Like that seems like interesting because it's like you'll run them as like, your outflank units to go like try to take some points, and they'll
yeah,
randomly do more damage to the enemy than they should when they die. And
yeah, and like think about it like with the horses too, right? Like not counting their attack profile, 770 points.
Mhm.
You charge them in. Average charge is 7, so you roll 7 dice, each 5 with some mortal wounds, so like 2 to 3 there, right?
Yep.
And then they charge in. They clearly will die at some point, and then each horse is like 1 mortal wound back on average. So that's
Yeah.
like 8 mortal wounds, not counting combat with that unit.
Dude, this is the list I would play.
Yeah,
100%.
this rules. Yeah, this is one of the
This
sub
is
factions I
awesome.
tried. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Was it fun? Did you like
yeah,
it?
and like I
Sweet.
think I did like I was play. This was against Zinch, so he had a lot of tools to deal with me at range,
Mhm.
which reasonably. But I think I got like 9 or 10 mortal wounds throughout the game with this, and I think I did like 6 damage to his Bellacore throughout the game with this ability,
Nice.
and like
So
I don't.
wait a second. Do I like this ability so much because it's literally just the corn ability from Mortals?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Is that why I like this one? I think it is.
I don't know, but just the idea of like corpse explosion. There's a
Yeah,
reason why
yeah.
like every necromancer and every RPG has a version of corpse explosion.
Yep.
It's because it fucking rules.
Yeah.
Like that's fun.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like but this seems like good. Like the fact that it's like on wound count
Yeah. No, absolutely.
and like yeah, I had stalkers in the Mortis Guard, and you're like rolling 5 dice when they died. And this was exactly how we said we should fix the sub faction too, by the way. In our redesigning
Oh, is it?
OBR.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it really? Wow, we hit a lot of things
Yeah.
right on, didn't we?
Yeah, the rest of the sub factions, no, we didn't hit.
No,
But
sure.
this one we hit right on the head. So I'm like, the
Hey, you got
idea is good. You just need to refine it a little bit and make it like work with multi-wound stuff a little bit more.
yeah.
And then, like I think a huge problem with crematorians in the past and why people didn't bring it is because their artifact was like +1 damage when you had like your best hero had 3 attacks, right?
Right.
So who fucking cares?
Right.
Your
Yeah, it's like they saddled it with bad other abilities.
Yeah, like your
Right.
like your command ability was melee units ignore cover. Fuck off with that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the command trait was like, oh, you roll 3 dice. But no, like you could just bake that into the passive, like, and not make you waste a command trait. Like, the rest of the stuff was like garbage attached to it.
Yeah.
But you don't have that, and like they cleaned it up. Like I think this is actually like good.
Yeah. Now, regardless of if this is the best one, this is the one I would want to run.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, like Petrifex Elite is very good. Mortis Praetorians is very good. This
Yeah.
is very
Oh,
good.
undoubtedly. Yep.
Yeah.
And they all kind
Null-Myriad
of
is
run with
super good.
different units to some extent too.
Yeah.
I feel like. Yeah.
And like I love that Petrifex Elite, like they narrowed the scope, right? But they didn't
Yep.
narrow it so much. They're just like the things you bring are big. But that
Yeah.
hits 6 or like it hits 5 different units.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So like it's not even like the Night Haunt one where it's like this one unit gets like a really good ability. Like, oh, you have to spam that unit. Cool. You know? Like this I think they did a really good job for the most part.
Mhm.
I think they could have done like run in charge and uh Staliarch Lords for your mounted units, and that would have actually been a compelling force to run.
I I mean that's just what they had before, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, they weren't good before. I don't know why they
It's just they weren't
decided.
great before because like you needed everything in Petrifex Elite to compete.
I
You know, and
suppose.
like they just saddled these sub factions with like absolute shit rules. And you're like,
Yeah.
well, I need like the rend and I need the save. Like this whole book is designed around me having +1 save. So
Yeah.
everything was pointed that way, so I had to take that.
Which is really weird.
Yeah, the rest of them didn't work because like the stuff that was so instrumental to how the book worked was put into Petrifex Elite.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Like
it's not even that
what?
the other ones are bad. It's just like I don't know, like let's say you're playing like Deepkin, and then one of the sub factions had Tide, right?
Right.
And like the rest didn't. And you're like, okay, cool. Or it's like you're playing Slaanesh and one sub-faction had Temptation dice and the rest didn't. It's like, all right, I
It's like,
have
I
to
guess I'm
take
playing
that one.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, oh, that was such a nightmare before, but I think they really. I don't think all of them are equally playable.
No.
I think all
But
of them have something going for them though too. Like, Ossiarch Lords isn't great, but like at least you can like put together. Oh, that's the build. I'm running a bunch of horses, and I'm hedging my bets with how much charge damage I can do.
yeah, there's at least something there.
Yeah, but overall, like, yeah, I think Crematorians rules.
Yeah.
I like them all. There's four of them, and I think are actually very compelling runs for whatever
Yeah.
reason. And like we talked about, like the Null Myriad being like very polarizing. But in the world where you're playing
Yeah.
like teams tournaments and you can like set up your pairings, like it might be cool to have like that silver bullet and like, oh, okay, they're bringing a spell army. We have something to completely deal with spell armies, and then you can ban it, and then you can play our other armies too.
Yep.
Yeah, so I like that part of it, but I think in normal play,
I
it's
think in
just
normal play it
kind of
sucks.
stinky. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Not sucks as in like it's bad. Sucks as in like, well, have like 90% of the time it's
it's bad.
actually just like nothing.
Yeah,
But like the other time it's like just way too good. So
yeah,
it's like, what are we even doing here?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
do better. All right, cool. Match play rules. The grand strats. I'll give you guys a second to snap these if you don't have them already. They're a little tricky to get from what I played. Um, I don't want to spend too much time on these.
Yep.
And then the battle tactics. I don't go over all of them and how good they are because it's my active protest. I do want to say it's kind of interesting though that they tied each one of them to a specific unit type, so you actually have to build for these rather than just like, oh, charge with 3 units, done.
Yep.
But yeah,
Oh, that's interesting.
it's
But
it's a little interesting.
yeah.
Just a little bit interesting.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Not enough to care.
All right. Core Battalion. This one's super weird. So you have 3 heroes. One of them can be a big guy. You have 5 troops basically, which are like anything but the behemoths and artillery. And then you can bring up to two. You can bring up to 4 of the artillery or behemoths. So you can bring 2 harvesters, 2 catapults, or 0 of each, and then just 5 units and 3 leaders. Then it's 1 drop, but they have to be deployed within 6 inches of at least 2 others.
That's weird.
I don't like that, to be honest, as a design space, because I feel like that's super easy to forget, right? And it just feels like a constraint for no real reason other than like, oh, in the lore we stick together.
Yeah.
Unless they're like experimenting how they want to do like 1 drop in the future, and they just make the whole game this to make it not like, oh, 1 drop is the obvious pick.
Yeah, they're like trying to figure out a way to do 1 drop without it being just yeah,
You know
super
what I mean?
powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it's
Maybe.
that, but I don't know. I just think it's very clunky, but
And now, do they even have anything that goes in that commander leader slot except Nagash?
commander leader slot is
No, I know it can be the any hero, right?
Yeah.
But like, do they have? Is there actually a reason for it to be that slot except to bring Nagash?
Nagash, Catacross, Arc on the Black.
Oh, that's right. There are a few more. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it's relevant.
Yeah. And that being said, I'm not sure actually. You can include Core Battalion in Ossiarch saying that you're using Core Battalions. Oh, and it doesn't specify that they have to be Ossiarch Bonereapers too. Because if it did, then Nagash couldn't even be in there.
Oh, fair enough.
Interestingly enough, but yeah, that might get FAQ to say that he can't.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, interesting.
Or maybe they did that intentionally. Like that feels like it could have been intentional.
I would like it if he could.
Yeah.
But they seem to make sure that like War Masters can't work with their armies at all, except for Archeon, who works with slaves.
Yeah.
This feels like the book that Nagash would work with out of any of the 4, but I get it that they don't
Right.
want it to.
It is kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Nagash, are you ready to talk about Big Man himself?
All right, let's do it.
Did you read him at all?
Yes.
Okay, because he's 965 points, which is a lot.
Which is a lot. Yeah.
18 wounds, which is a huge upgrade. 3-up save. He doesn't bracket in combat anymore. It's just his movement, his number of spells cast, and the range that he can return models to other units, weirdly enough.
Mm-hmm.
He lost 2 attacks on his sword, but they went up to a 3-up to wound. So interestingly enough, he does just a little bit less damage than he did before on his full bracket.
Okay.
Which, for going up 60 points and doing less, that's a yikes from me.
Oops. Yep.
Yeah, but let's keep going. So what did he get? He lost the ability to spam arcane bolts, which is pretty massive.
Yep.
Honestly, for his damage output. So he does no damage, basically. For that point total, he does the damage. Yeah, nothing. Okay.
He does a 400-point damage
Yeah.
unit, maybe.
So he has 8 casts. He knows the lores of your entire spell, or of your entire army. And he has unlimited unbinds. Which I think is fine, because having 8, that's basically unlimited, and it just makes it easier to keep track of.
Yeah.
So, let's go. Unbind, unbind, unbind. Well, that might be good against some armies, might not mean anything anyway.
Yep.
Let's see. +3 to cast, Dispel Unbind, always. That doesn't bracket anymore. Yeah, so his,
Oh, that doesn't bracket anymore.
It
Ooh,
does not bracket anymore, so that's kind of big, too,
wow.
right?
Yeah, that actually is pretty big, yeah. Because that was a thing, it's you could drop him and then to try to get him to not be able to cast stuff, and now that doesn't do anything.
Exactly. Which honestly is probably fine for him, because if there's nothing you can do to lower his arcane bolt damage, I guess you'd lower the amount of spells he had. So, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, there's pros and cons to that. So, his Invocation of Nagash is you pick. It used to be you pick 5 things and you return 3 wounds worth of models to it, and now it's just everything within 24 inches. That brackets too. So. It starts at 24, and at his lowest bracket, it's everything within 9 inches. He returns 3 models too. Which is
pretty big.
Pretty hefty. That's a lot of models.
Yeah. Now is it a wound characteristic of up to a wound characteristic of that
exactly.
Much?
So if it's a 3-wound horse, he'll bring 1 back, right?
Okay, yeah. Which that's what I assumed
reasonable.
It was.
Yeah. It's good to specify.
Yep.
This is huge. He has a 12-inch aura of death units have a 5-up ward.
Oh, yeah, that's sweet.
So he finally has a ward that he always should have had.
Yep.
Being the only death unit in the game without a ward was asinine.
That was weird.
Yeah, but he has it.
And it gives a good one, too.
Yeah, 5-up ward is pretty massive force multiplier, and it makes him pretty survivable, even to shooting.
And the interesting thing is, in this book, you can give him the 5-up ward with this, and then not need to, you can then give all out defense as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. And he dips into your CP generation because there's nowhere you're bringing 7 units with him.
That's true.
Yeah, but at the same time,
you don't need it as much.
Yeah, you don't need it because you're just dishing out. You're not dishing out wards as much anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Or it lets you tilt extremely aggressively with these units.
Yep.
Or you normally would have saved it to have the ward, which is pretty cool too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Hand of Dust is exactly the same. Soul Stealer got a huge improvement.
Hand of Dust is not exactly the same. It now says you can use a cup instead of just your hand.
Oh, forgive me. That's kind of cool, honestly.
To be fair, I don't know if it said that before.
It didn't. No.
Okay.
You're right. Okay, so the device that you use to hide the dice has changed.
Does not have to be your hand. No, it can be your hand.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have to be.
Yep. Yeah. Nice.
Calling out the important things, I noticed. Yay.
Yeah.
Actually.
And a lot of spells in this book that were said that that anti-setup, you can't cast it through the mirror. You can still cast this through the mirror. Which is interesting that they didn't put that limitation on this, right?
Yeah.
If they're going around and doing
I guess that's intentional, right?
Yep.
If you want to cast this through the mirror,
Go for it.
We're counting on it even.
Yeah. In Soul Eater, what it used to be is after you cast the spell, you roll 2d6. If you beat the thing's bravery, you heal d3. Or no, you deal d3 damage to that unit and you heal that much. If it doubled their bravery characteristic on 2d6, um, you did d6 mortal wounds and healed that many. Now it's just you pick a thing within 24 inches. It suffers d3 mortal wounds. You heal that much, and if the casting value is unmodified 9 or more, you do d6. So that's a huge upgrade to that spell. Like it's pretty consistent healing too, like d3 maybe d6 on top of like heroic recovery. You know, like that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's a little. I mean, something to note here is like that +3 to cast doesn't get you to the 9 because of
Yeah,
the unmodified.
which is fine.
Yeah,
And like I think people would argue that like he lost his arcane bolt spam, so maybe he should just be able to do d6 at range. And like you know what,
right.
I think it would be okay either way. I get why they did that though, because that's just like kind of nomenclature.
Yeah,
Them going around with the whole book. But like he's a
and
god, you know, he could have his own special thing.
now they changed the rules specifically so you could only cast one um endless spell a turn, right?
Yeah,
Like specifically for him, so that you couldn't spam them.
yeah.
So
Each wizard can only cast one. Yeah,
yeah, so that still is unfortunately limiting for him.
yeah,
Because I was like, do you just like run a bunch of endless spells? It's like, no, they changed that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure you can get value from every spell in your lore.
Yep.
Which I mean, some books you can. This one, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah. But you just kill Stormcast Eternals.
Yep.
Like they're dead. Might as well not even run the book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you won. Yeah, he's even a bigger base for that 12-inch can't deploy.
It's honestly true.
Yeah.
It is honestly.
It is honestly true. Yeah.
Yeah, that is actually pretty good against them.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then the last rule of the change was Supreme Lord of the Dead, which I liked how it worked before, but it was not good enough for a 900-point model.
Yeah.
I just wish they made it like a command trait somewhere, like re-roll the dice or add one. So what he does now. Oh, I think the other rule too, where he brings back 3 wounds worth of models. It's important to note that they added Mordant there, so it can work with Flesh Eater Courts, because it couldn't before.
Oh, that's sweet.
Which is interesting that they forgot that, but... Oh, got pay on my mic, hold on. So, what Supreme Lord of the Undead does now is at the start of your hero phase, you pick one summonable unit that is just pure dead, right? And on a 3-up, you can return it wholly within 12 of Nagash outside of 9 of enemies. So,
Oh yeah. This one where it's like, yep, you can just he like gives you an extra like bring back a unit.
Yeah. So summonables, Mordants, Ossiarch, Bonereapers, wounds of 3 or less. So he can't be like ripping stalker units back from the dead.
Right.
Or like the Crypt Horrors, Crypt Flayers. So just chaffy stuff. Back from the dead. So that's pretty interesting. I think you could make your points back here. I don't think
Yeah,
he's like
I was just gonna say
competitive.
that's probably that's probably where you're trying to get your points back, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do you run him with like with crematorians?
That's
And just
actually
like
a
that's
build
an
I did
extra way
want
to
to
like
talk about.
blow stuff up, right?
Yeah. Because I think like we established earlier that and that's what I wanted to segue into, so good you even caught it. Cool.
Woo.
But I think like in this book, if you want to run him, you run crematorians, you bring horses. And like with that kind of rule, I know from Soulblight, from playing it so much, that you're like looking to feed them units that they're killing on turn 1,
Yep.
turn 2, turn 3, right?
Yep.
Like each time they're not doing that, like you're not controlling their combat, you're not yeah, whatever. So you're doing that with Nagash here too. Your horses are going to be your best way of doing that. Crematorians, you're launching them in. We talked about it, getting 8 mortal wounds off of them on average, and then you bring them back on a 3-up. So I think Nagash with like a protective wall of Mortek Guard to like screen around him, and then you just launch horses ad nauseum into them.
That was pretty cool.
I think that's the list. I think ultimately what his problem is he's like so many points, and that is synergizes with chaff units. So you don't really have hammers in this army, right?
Right.
But I don't know. I'm gonna try him a little bit. He might be better than he looks. I suspect he's not going to be competitively viable.
Mhm.
I suspect he's going to make for some fun games,
Yeah.
and that's really about it. But I don't know. Like my
He's
gut
worth
is
trying though.
my gut is that he's actually an 880 model. Like after like some time passes,
Mhm.
I think his War Scroll's good. I just think he's a little too much.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
Yeah. It's not like the last one where it's like, oh, it has this really cool rule, but everything else falls apart for him. And it's like, man, like him having the ward is massive
Did
too.
we ever get that FAQ you wanted with the last version of him? Did that ever show up?
Yeah, we did, and it was like a year and a half later.
Huh.
And it was ruled in the lame, not fun way that would actually have made him work.
Yeah.
It's like you can't reroll the rally dice or the skeleton horde dice or anything like that. And like, oh, okay, so the one build with that is like dead because you just ruled it the not good way. Okay, good job.
Woo.
Yeah. Oh well. That old world scroll's dead.
Yep.
But we'll see.
Okay.
I don't think this is gonna do anything competitively, but I would love to be wrong.
I think it's at least more fun than the previous one, though, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's something to this one. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like if it's not good, it's points. I think.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. Catacross. He changed, not conceptually, but like he got way cleaner. You notice that there's only 3 weapon profiles instead of 7 or whatever he had, which is great. And he just has passives now. He doesn't lose them as he brackets. He just has them.
Oh. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So what does he do? He can issue a command once per turn free. Cool. You pick one
Yep.
enemy unit on the battlefield, subtract 1 from hit rolls by that unit that target Ossiarch Bonereapers. Cool. Yeah, at the start of your hero phase, you pick it until your next hero phase. Cool. Aviac Spy Master. Once per turn, you can roll a dice when your opponent receives a command point. If you do so on a 5-up, they lose that command point. That's fine. This one's hilarious. Do nothing. This one's mine. If he's in combat with an enemy hero, he fights at his bottom bracket, which is he has like a Scarbrand effect, so he's gonna have his
Oh,
4
it's his best.
attacks, yeah, and his shields, which are nada right now. So 6s are an additional hit with these.
Huh.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. This is pretty big here too. So he had a rule before. Archon had a similar rule, Bone Shaper, where like you pick uh Ossiarch Bonereaper units in range, and then you return like 3 wounds worth of them to that unit. Good stuff. However, you can now pick Stalkers and Immortus Guard. And on a 3-up, you can return 1 model to that unit.
Oh, I think I read that on him. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's pretty big.
All instances of that were changed to that. So it's basically you get 3 more. Yeah, you get 3 more tech guard back. You get 1 horseback, or you on a 3-up, you get 1 stalker or Immortus Guard back. And I think that's like such a good compromise because being able to just like consistently do that, obviously very good, right?
Yeah, right. So they kind of made it like over the course of a game, you're only going to get so many back.
Yeah, exactly. And like you
Yeah.
have ways to like double tap because like if you bring like this guy in a Bone Shaper, and that Bone Shaper's carrying the relic that he's probably going to be carrying, right? You get
Mhm.
3 cracks at this, and like failing 1 out of 3, that's reasonable to me.
Right.
Because like if you could just build to get 3 back consistently all the time, that's yuck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I like that compromise.
Yeah.
Endless Duty, the Leech Cavalist got this too, but you can at the beginning of the command, or you can use this ability in your hero phase, and you give an Ossiarch Bone Reaper unit +1 attack until your next hero phase. It's so interesting to
Oh,
me
that's
that
really good.
yeah, and like they changed it in second edition to be like cleaner, so it's like in the combat phase, and you can like issue, and like that was like such a good change for second edition because like it just made
Mhm.
it cleaner, and it still is cleaner. Like it's a little clunkier in the hero phase, and then trying to figure it out from there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like the way that commands work, you can't issue multiple. So like you just had this like +1 attack thing that just like hung out in the dark, right?
Right.
So like I think it's pretty genius that they took a step back, put it back in the hero phase, so that you can use it.
Right. Because it's
Yeah,
like that's a serious force multiplier, though. Holy crap!
yeah. So
How
that's what
many
I
points is
mean.
this guy? That's the thing.
He is 440.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
that seems very good.
yeah. And then he still has that holy within 20. So it used to be holy within 36, and it degraded to 18 after some damage. Now it's just holy within 24, +1 to hit and save.
+1 to hit and save.
Yeah,
This guy's 440.
yeah.
Does he only affect Mortis Praetorians with those abilities?
Nope, it affects every legion. However, he's only War Master in Mortis Praetorian.
Okay, I don't know if I care about that.
I don't know
To
if
be
I
honest.
care about that either. It's nice
Yeah.
to have, and like it might be great because I'm probably playing that a lot anyway because I think it's a very good legion.
Right.
But
Wow, this guy is nuts.
he
Am
seems
I wrong?
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
The main thing about him is that he moves 4, so he's slow as dick.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think he's good. I think he's really good. I think he'll see play.
Yeah. But I feel like I'm missing something here that makes him not as good. I don't know.
You think he's too good for his points?
He seems like such a force multiplier, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Like
like,
given the extra attacks and like you can in addition do other things in the combat phase. Like I think that's a huge change. Right?
yeah.
I
And
don't
I
know.
guess it's worth noting with him too is like if you have like the Liege Cavalos, both him and the Liege Cavalos can issue the +1 attack because it's an Ossiarch current Bonereaper command, so you can issue it multiple times, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, +1 attacks are pretty good. And
So I
like being
guess
able to have that is nice.
yeah.
Let's see, he's 20 wounds with a 3-up save, but I guess army wide +1. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't so the Liege Cabalos has +1 attack too then?
yes. It's the
Wow, I
same
mean that's
command
also
even.
really
Yeah.
good. That's wow.
Yeah, you can't put them both on the same guy, of course, because they can't receive commands multiple times, right?
Right.
But yeah, like I'm gonna play this guy soon, to be honest. I
Yeah,
really
I
like
think
the
I would too.
model. I think he's really good.
Yeah, like +1. What's the range on the +1 save?
24.
24-inch bubble? Like that's basically your whole army most of the time, right?
Yep, I'd agree.
Like depending on how you want to do it, but
Mm-hmm. And he could
yeah,
be 20 wounds on a 2-up save with a 5-up ward. Like you're not shooting that off the table.
no. And in fact, as you chip damage him, he gets better. Because
Yeah,
like it used to be he lost abilities while he got more killy, and now he just gets better,
yeah.
right?
One important thing to note too that they did lose is they can't like they have to target Immortus Guard, Necropolis Stalkers. Oh wait, no, they don't actually. Okay, you can pick up to 3 different friendly Ossiarch Bonereaper units wholly within 24 inches. And okay, yeah, so if it's an Immortus Guard or Necropolis Stalker, you can heal up to 3 wounds. Oh yeah, so I'm right. Okay, so you can't heal himself anymore with that ability. Like Archon, Bone Shaper,
Oh,
Catacrys used to be able to heal 3 wounds to themselves every turn too with that ability.
mm-hmm.
Now you can't. So that's important to know.
Okay.
But yeah, I think he's good.
I think he is too.
I don't think he's like because I think when you look at the points later, you're gonna find that everything's super expensive.
Oh, okay.
So it's really hard to fit everything you want, right?
Yeah.
So like our cheapest thing is 150. That's pretty limiting.
Yeah, that is definitely limiting.
Yeah, and like Stalkers and Immortus Guard are 220, 200 respectively.
Mm-hmm.
So he is a force multiplier, but at 440, and the way other points are, you don't have quite as big of a force. And I don't think you're fitting the 7 units in when you have him.
Right. Okay.
Easily, yeah.
But I mean, you do get the extra.
Yeah,
The
you
free
get the
command
extra
at that
issue,
point.
yeah.
But it's not 3 extra, so
Yeah.
there's that.
All right, let's move on. And then as we go on, you'll see how we feel about everything. Cool with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're done here. But great unit. Good job. Arc on the Black. This is big. 14 wounds with a 3-up save now. He used to be 11 wounds with a 4-up.
That is a huge change.
Yep. And the game I played today, he survived where he previously would have died.
Hey, there you go.
Yep. His combat profile is exactly the same, except for this claws and daggers used to be a 5/4, but you don't do mortal wounds anymore, which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just like rules blow, and if Night Haunt lost that, like they shouldn't residualize on the Mortarks, so I'm okay with that.
Yep.
They just made it one spirit host. So it's interesting enough too. Like most of his damage comes from the mount, so he doesn't really benefit from Nadirite.
Oh, yeah, because it doesn't count mount
Mhm.
weapons for that one.
Yeah. So he can't target 4. He only targets 3 units with his model return thing now, which is pretty big. He has a 6. He has an aura of 18 inches of +6 to the spell range. Curse of Years is exactly the same. He still has the +2 to cast that brackets. And each time he fights, after all the attacks have been resolved, you can heal number of wounds equal to the number of wounds and mortal wounds caused by these attacks. So he has some self-healing tied to it too. He's 370 points. He was like one of my most popular picks for this army back then. I still think he is.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, like I don't think he changed in any meaningful way other than like he can't do the arcane bolt spam anymore, which there are situations where that was good,
Mhm.
but you have a pretty good lore that you want to cast anyway.
Right.
I wish Curse of Years was like not that personally, but
Yeah, it's like I wouldn't mind seeing that spell go away.
yeah.
Yeah, it's another one of those really swingy things that's just like, yeah.
Yeah, and I think our version was just like 3d3 mortal wounds. That's it. When
Yeah,
we did redesigning OBR, and I like that way better, but
I just like things that aren't quite as swingy.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah. Like dice games are fine and like it's fun to like do that, but like more I think it's randomness is more fun when it's like on a bell curve than just like
The chance to
large
ruin a game.
spikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, on either side.
I agree. Yeah. And like we already have enough of that with like attack profiles and spell profiles, you know?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I agree with that. That's a nitpick really, but
Yeah.
he's 370, that's really good.
Yep.
Let's see. Arch Cavalos Xantos. This guy got a glow up. So I think he's either 180 or 190. I think he's 180. Oh, you know, he might be 200. He's somewhere around there. 7 wounds, 3-up save. 5 attacks, 3 threes, -2/2, +1 damage on the charge. Once per turn, he can issue a command to Ossiarch Bonereaper units for free.
Sweet.
And instead of Endless Duty, his special rule is just a 12-inch bubble, +1 to wound. Remember, he had like I reroll ones to hit, or reroll ones to wound versus destruction in order, but versus chaos, I just reroll wounds. None of that, just +1 to wound.
Yeah, good.
It only works on Mortis Praetorians. That's good to remember. He's locked to Mortis
Mm-hmm.
Praetorian. But
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's a respectable profile. Like he does decent damage. Like 5 attacks, rent potentially 3 on the charge, right? 3 damage. Like that can move something.
And so here's a nitpick about how they design stuff in general. Don't you wish like they didn't just give all the special characters to like the poster child, and like they made a couple for each?
Yeah. Like the one exception to that Stormcast. I think you're right. Yeah.
Stormcast for like 1 unit though.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. Like I don't know.
I wish they did more of it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because it's just like, well, like I don't know. It's weird. Anyway,
I like that Archon is not like I don't think he even has Null Myriad keyword. Yeah, so he can be in any of them.
That's good.
And I like that Catacross can affect stuff even though he is War Master in his, right?
Yeah, no, like I think that's like That's better.
Yeah, I agree. But like, yeah, I don't know. If you're doing Mortis Praetorian, I think he's a really good piece. Like a bubble +1 to wounds.
Yep.
That rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he used to suck, and now I think he has a place.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, before he's like one of those like, do I randomly ruin your day because you're playing chaos for no
Well, I mean,
reason?
like not even then, even too, because like you had to have like your combat, like your combat phase command ability, and he was a combat phase command ability, so you had to like
Oh
take
yeah,
reroll wounds over -1 save or -1 rend,
yeah,
and like you probably always took -1 rend anyway, so he actually did nothing.
yeah. That's weird.
You
But
know?
like, even if he like was something before, like I hate it like when the thing is just like randomly targets specific armies,
Yeah.
because then you feel like you can never actually like. Okay, so how like in a friendly game, right? Like I hate taking units like this because
Yeah.
it's like it either feels like I'm never gonna get that ability because
Or I'm an asshole
I
if I
feel
do because I list Taylor,
yeah,
right?
it's like I feel bad if I take it because it's like, oh, I knew what you were playing, right?
Yeah.
And so I would never take it there, but then I would never take it normally because I don't get the ability.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I don't know. There just always feels bad when they do random stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't need it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like it's not really that flavorful either, you know.
yeah,
Like we don't need like a rule telling us that he's better against chaos because he hates chaos, right?
right. Yeah, I don't need it.
Yeah, like we can hear in his lore that his whole story is about fighting chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We beat that to death.
Yep. As we do.
Fuck Mordian. This guy sucked before. Did he get any better? Let's see. He's a 2-cast wizard. He knows all the spells from the Ossiarch sorcery lore. Pretty
That
good.
sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I
You
guess
didn't do that before, right?
he did not know.
Okay.
I
That's
forgot to
already
mention that
reasonable.
Archon had that too, but he always had
I
that.
think I assumed that, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. What's his 2 rules? He does no damage in combat. At the start of the combat phase, you can pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of this and roll a dice. On a 3-up, your opponent must spend a command point to pick this unit be the target of attacks by an enemy this phase. I think I almost don't care about that.
Wait, what does that say?
So if you
So if
target
you
him,
put-
you have to spend a command point to attack him.
That's bizarre. Okay.
Yeah, but like it's not like you put him in there and on a 3-up they can't attack at all, which would be horseshit, by the way.
Huh.
Right?
Yeah.
I guess they have to spend a command point to attack him, but he only protects himself with that. But yeah, he's 6 wounds with a 4-up save, and he's got 2 attacks that are 2 damage. Okay.
Battle Mage.
Yeah. And then subtract 2 from bravery for enemy units while they're within 12 of this unit. And if the model picked to be the enemy's general has been slain, you subtract 3 from bravery instead.
Alright, so we're leaning into that, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, you might run him just because he's a level 2 lore master.
Yeah.
Right? How many points is he?
140.
140?
Yeah. Are you ready to hear how awesome his spell is?
Sure.
All right. Casting value 7, range of 1. Pick one enemy model within range. On a 4-up, that model is slain. The range of the spell cannot be modified and must be measured from the caster, even if another thing lets you do so. Or measure it elsewhere.
Alright.
Yeah. Let's see.
So it's the exact same as Hand
Before?
of Dust?
Yeah, it's basically Hand of Dust,
Yeah.
but you can't put it through the mirror.
You can't put it through the mirror. But it is Hand of Dust.
Yeah. So you have to like get this guy into combat, have him survive 1 to 2 turns, and then on a 4-up, on a casting value 7 with no bonuses to cast, you can Hand of Dust.
Pass.
Let me tell me, are you impressed?
Well, okay. Not pass. I'll pass on that because that's never going to happen. Or happens so rarely, it doesn't matter. I don't know, 140 points for a lore master?
With 2
That has
spells?
two cast? Yeah, count me in.
All right.
All the rest is ipsum lorem. Like,
Are you ready to be unimpressed?
sure.
All right, we're gonna skip Off Effector for now,
Okay.
and we're gonna talk about Mortison's Soul Mason. He's a 2-cast wizard. In addition, he knows all of the spells from the lore of the Ossian sorcery in addition to the other spells it knows. Okay? 160 points.
So he's only 20 points
He's
more?
20 points more, and he
Okay.
has a spell that he can cast up to 4 times that's +1 to wound within 24 inches.
So you run this guy instead, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And he still has like at the end of the hero phase, roll a dice. On a 1-0, on a 2 to 5, cast it D3 or one more time, and on a 6, cast it D3 more times. So he's realistically getting it once more usually, and he can just cast Soul Guide a bunch, which is the +1 to wound.
So like maybe if you're like 20 points shy, like you run the other guy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Who is also locked to Mortis Praetorians, but yep. A lot of maybes, Bill.
A lot of maybes. Probably never running him.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I'm not anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, this guy's way better.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Let's go back to the Os Effector. Go back to order. So this is the new hero. 120 points, 1 cast. And basically, what he does is he has a 12-inch Holy Within 12. You pick a Mortek Collar, a Morghast, or the Harvester, and you give him one of these 3 rules. Improve the rend characteristic of melee weapons by 1. The first wound or mortal wound caused to that unit in each phase is negated. Or, on their missile weapon, they hit twice on 6s instead of 1s. So, yeah, they give exploding 6s to shooting, which I forgot to mention in the Nadirite weapons only works on melee.
Okay.
But this guy gives it back to the catapult's ranged attacks. And then his spell is Holy Within 24 inches, and then you can pick 3 things to be modified by that ability instead of just 1. He's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the additional rend and then like the more damage on the catapult. And then this is the guy, remember, who can take the +1 to wound bubble artifact.
Yeah. So like if you're kind of wanting to lean that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think if you bring a catapult, you probably bring one of him.
Mm-hmm.
Just to like put the Nadirite rule right on their ranged attack.
Yeah.
And like Morghasts aren't bad. And like Gothizzar Harvesters, they're good. And like having that extra rend on each of those. Like, I don't know, like there's something to this, but he's not like exciting like some of the other heroes are, but like I feel like if you want to lean into those, he's really good with that, but like the problem is like you need to run at least one of those. But I gotta say too, I do really like the design space of like he has a passive that works wholly within 12, but you can make you can cast a spell that picks more things and then increases the range. So even if you only have like one thing, like casting the spell to make it a 24-inch range buff, it's really cool.
It is interesting.
Yeah. So like this guy who wants to sit in the back line doesn't have to chase like your Morghasts to give him the +1 rend.
Yeah.
It's like you either have it guaranteed within a certain range or you have it on the spell. Like I don't know, like I like the design space on this guy a lot. But he seems like, like fair. Like nothing about him seems like too out of bounds.
Yeah.
But like additional rend, like we talk about how good that is all the time.
Oh, more rend is always good.
Yeah, exactly. So
that is for sure a powerful ability.
Yeah, like this guy's gonna have a home in some list for sure.
Yep.
And he's gonna be a valuable part of it, but I don't think you don't start the list with him.
Right. You're like, do I want one of them with what I have?
Yeah, exactly. Which is fine.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta start wrapping this up because we're going late again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Bone Shaper does the same exact thing. Cast 1 spell. His horde clears on a 5-up instead of a 6-up. Returns models. 120 points. I always took him before. You always take one now, I think.
Easy.
Yep. Mortison's Soul Reaper. So, man, he got way better, but I think he still sucks. He's
Fair.
120, 3 attacks, 5 attacks if he's hitting something with 5 or more models. Three's threes -2/2. And his spell is basically you pick one thing within 12 inches to suffer D3 mortal wounds. If you're in combat with it, it's 3 mortal wounds instead. So he's like a greater arcane bolt.
But he's a
120.
battle mage,
Yep.
and that just like he's just not going to survive being in combat with most things,
Nah.
right? And he's like he can't just go off on his own,
Nope.
and yeah,
So
I
you
don't
need
know.
him like next to Immortus Guard, and they need to like soak up the wounds for him to survive. And like I don't know if you're giving up like your damage 2 attacks for his damage 2 attacks because they're like the same thing, right? It's like I'd rather have the
Right.
bodies. I don't know. And I guess like yeah, you can kill the Immortus Guard and you can bring him back on like a 3-up, but I don't know. It just seems like a lot of hats on a hat, you know?
Yeah.
And, yeah,
I
I
feel like
probably.
as soon as they make a battle mage good enough, he's going to be too good, and that's the problem,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. Like I don't know. Like the way the game works, it's like volume is usually what wins, right?
Right.
And you can't really like put volume on a hero.
Yeah.
And then once you do, he's like, okay, so I can put my volume in this like tiny little pocket that's hard to get many attacks on, and then they'll just like go nuts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Like if he had like something that like when he fought, he gave like other units around him like bonuses of some kind, right?
Yeah. That'd be kind of cool.
Like
That'd
maybe.
probably be a better way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like maybe he has like strike first and fight in tandem, right?
Right.
And you're like, okay, so like that's his role, is he inspires the other things to fight first. But like, and maybe that might be even too strong too. And then I don't know, right? Like, I just think this guy was doomed from the get go.
Right.
I don't think Greater Arcane Bolt is really like the thing to bring him out. It's a shame. I love that model so much.
Yo, the model's so cool,
Yeah,
but just yeah.
I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mortek Guard. They're largely the same, except for annoyingly, you can't put the special weapon on the unit leader. So I have to unconvert a lot of my stuff, or change the helmet so it works now, you know?
Oh, yeah, I hate it. I hate when they're like inconsistent about it and they like change it.
Yeah.
It's so annoying
And
because
it's like, I don't think I was
it's
breaking
like
anything, right? With the special weapon having one more attack.
right.
Just let me
Yeah,
have that, yeah.
like with the Blood Warriors can now have the special weapon as their leader. I don't know if they could before. Maybe they could.
Yeah.
But like I just feel like that's gonna be like a thing that could change and then it's like, oh okay, I guess not now, and
Yeah.
it's just annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, they called that out, so I have to change them.
Yep.
But they're mostly the same. They're 150 points, so they went up 10. But instead of rerolling saves, their shield wall makes them ethereal. So they can't
Oh,
yeah, but they can't benefit positively or negatively from saves.
interesting. Okay. Oh, but they can get a 4-up.
Yeah, so they're
They can get a 5-up
ethereal.
ward though. Oh, so they're a
Well,
great target for the 5-up ward.
it's use that command ability at the start of the combat. So you can't get both.
Oh, you can't do both. Oh, okay. I forgot it
So
was a command ability if I'm being honest.
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know though. I kind of like that design space because like what these were before was like oppressive, except for the
Yeah.
hammers, and then they just like crumbled. And
Yeah.
now like just what this does is like everything does reasonable damage to this unit. And like it's still gonna be a pretty good like the roles are almost opposite, right?
Right.
It's like they were really good at like little stuff, and then hammers came and just like moved them off the face of the earth. And now they're like standing on the front line, and they dare the hammer to move them. And they probably will after some time, but like I don't know. I really like that
Yeah.
design space.
Yeah.
And if they're
They
not
are
like,
a bit expensive though, I think, right? Like 150 for 10.
oh yeah, they're a little
So they're
expensive.
definitely paying for that ability.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like it's funny because like the Nighthaunt stuff is like ethereal all the time, and like there's times where it's like a liability, right?
Yeah.
But like something's coming at you with no rend or one rend, and you have like Mystic Shield on this. You're like, okay, well, Ethereal's a liability, so I won't have it.
Yeah.
So I think there's like a lot of power in that too. Of like,
Yeah,
okay,
like the
it's like,
choice of like, oh, that thing really is gonna mess me up, so
yeah,
I'll yeah.
and it's like, all right, I will be at a 4-up, worst case scenario, and I can be on a 3-up, and a lot of times.
Yep.
I think that's really clever. And it's not like I just spam this command ability all the time. There's like thought put into it.
Yep.
I
You have
like
to like
this.
yep.
Yeah.
Is it just a math problem though?
Yeah.
Like you just gotta figure out if you want to if it's like I don't know.
Is that a problem though?
Yeah, not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Yeah, but I get it. Yeah. It is just a math problem at the end of the day. You're right.
But there's still decision to be made of like, do I want to do this, right?
A math ability is still a skill test, right?
Yeah.
It's just like not a situation skill. It's like a math skill, I guess. Like knowing the game.
Yeah. I think like timing decision skills are more interesting. But yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to fight you there, but you're definitely right about that.
But then again, like it doesn't have to be like too interesting there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that much of a math problem, so it's really not that bad.
Yeah.
It's just like if I want to use something, like what's the better one to use? It's just
Exactly. Yeah, that's all there is to it.
Yeah, which is fine.
Ultimately, like 150 points for that, like I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
All right. Immortus Guard. So they're 200 points. They used to be 150. They went up 50 points. What did they get? They got +1 attack on their halberd. So it went from 2 attacks to 3 attacks. 3 threes minus 2, 2. They have 5 wounds now instead of 4. So that means that they count as 2 on the objectives. They have a 2-up bodyguard. They always had that, but very good rule still.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they can use this command ability once per battle. After this unit has fought for the first time in the combat phase, they can immediately issue it, and then they can strike again, but strike last.
Okay.
So interestingly enough, it's a command ability. So you can't give it the additional rend. You can't give it all attack. You can't give it additional rend, right?
Right.
You get 2 combats once per game with it. Interestingly enough, though, like 200 points for 15 wounds at a 3-up save. Like this unit impressed the hell out of me in both my games. It was like it could not move and it just lifted things. Like I 2-rounded a unit of 10 horrors, which are usually like a tar pit to like lock somebody up for a game, you know?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like the thing they just charged into me and I'm like, all right, 24 damage. Oh. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you get unusually lucky on those rolls?
No.
Sounds like you must have. No?
No, because like
Wait,
think
how
about it,
much
like
damage is
18 attacks.
9.
Yeah, like it's not
In
unreasonable.
double combat, it should do 18 damage.
You think
So
so?
you got a little lucky, right? Isn't that just math?
So 18 attacks.
I mean, it's actually a little less than that. I was just giving a 3-up, 3-up at 50%, right?
But then you have Nadirite weapons, so each of those 6s, and I had it on a 5-up, right? Because I put that spell on them.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, so you get a bunch of those through, yeah. And like if they don't have a save, because they're like a 6-wound thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think that's an unreasonable number.
That's not that high above average.
Yeah.
I think it's above average, but it wasn't that high above average.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like I used to like these. I fucking love these. Like
yeah,
and
the -2 rend means it's gonna happen like kind of frequently too.
Yeah.
Right?
I can make it -3 rend. I have a spell that gives like +2 to wound that I can just like throw out like candy with that bone guy on the chair.
Right. Yeah.
Like this thing, like I have 6. I might get 6 more.
All right. Yep. I don't blame you.
That's how impressed I was with them.
Yeah.
And then like you know how much I love Bodyguard and how much I talk about it in Night Haunt, but like, and that like now this thing has rend. Like this thing rules in the double combat. Like okay.
Yeah. Great.
Necropolis Stalkers. So how did they change? They went up to 220 each, so they raised 50 as well. +1 wound. They lost an attack on the Spirit Blades. So they went from 5 attacks to 4 attacks. They have an additional rend here. And the Dread Falchions went to a 3-inch range and are on a 3-up to hit instead of a 4-up. So the Falchions do more damage, the Spirit Blades do less. Ultimately, the unit does I think 0.6 more damage because of Nadirite weapons too.
Okay.
It's a
Now,
little
is that
bit more
including
damage.
having the special head? Do they still have the same ones?
Interesting, yes, but no. Add 1 to
Okay.
hits, add 1 to saves, add 1 to wounds, add 1 to damage. You don't get the additional rend in damage anymore.
Oh, okay. That's actually pretty big.
Yeah, but the rend was baked into the Spirit Blades and not the Falchions. So even if you're doing the save aspect, you still have rend 2 on the Spirit Blades.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yep.
Yeah, but then you get +1 save too.
But you get one less attack on that, you said?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
And so and plus that with Nadirite and the buffs, they used to do an obscene amount of damage.
Oh, yeah.
Now they just do a ridiculous amount of damage.
Right. They're still
it's still very good. It is less, but it is very good. And then they have a command ability that they use in your hero phase. This is really good, actually. So in the hero phase, the model can fly over terrain and run and charge.
Oh, run and charge. Wow. Okay.
Yep. So think about it this way too. So you can run and charge. They move 6. Use that in the hero phase. In the move phase, auto run them. They move 12. Charge.
Yep. Yeah.
These things are fucking
really fast. Yeah.
Yep. So they're way faster. And honestly, so the way I'm looking at these is they were 485 for 9, and now it's 440 for 6, which is obviously very different, right?
Yeah.
That's obviously a lot less damage. But they have 1 more wound each. So that ultimately the unit lost 4 wounds. I think that's how math checks out. Because 4 times 9 is 30. Okay, so they have 6 less wounds.
Okay.
But you can return models to them now. They're way faster.
Yeah?
Yeah, and in Petrifex Elite, -1 damage. Holy shit.
Yeah. And can Nagash bring these back at half strength?
No, they're more than 3 wounds.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But if he could, holy shit, right?
Yeah, holy shit, yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, if that's... Okay.
But honestly, a unit of 6 at 440 was, a veritable threat. And even, one of these at 220, it was reasonable. Yep. They had to, you had to put a lot of damage into moving these.
And Can I just say it's just one thing about these guys is that it's that the 4 heads are, 3 of them are super lazy.
What do you mean?
Design. Plus to hit, plus to wound, plus to damage.
It's yeah, my problem with that too is you always take the 1 damage.
Right, don't you?
Yeah, you never take the hit or the wound.
Yeah.
Unless you're fighting a curl gas and he reduces your damage by 1. And you're oh well. Or that kind of effect. And then you take the wound. Unless you had the So here are the use cases. You need to survive, you do the 1 save. You need to do damage, you do the 1 damage. Do they have a thing that reduces your damage by 1? Yes. Okay, do you have Soul Guide on them? Yes. +1 to hit. Do you have Soul Guide on them? No. +1 to wound.
It's literally just a math problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just... I mean, sure, I guess they all have, but, the last ones are, so niche that it's okay. Extra rules text.
You know what's funny, too, is,
I don't know.
If it just said, you choose +1 damage or +1 save.
Yeah.
You'd be oh, this thing's cool. It's versatile. It has all this shit. And then you're oh, wow. Now it made me have homework in addition.
Right.
And,
exactly,
1 out of 50 games, this might matter.
Yep.
But I guess well, right?
Yeah.
It is lazy.
I'd rather... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just
They
insisted on it having 4 heads for a lore reason, and then they're I guess we gotta do 4 abilities.
What would the other 2 heads be, think though, right? You have to start them at the beginning of combat.
I'm just...
Interesting, too, one of them was a ward, so it's it's still a math problem on what, damage type you need to be resistant to.
Oh, I guess what I'm saying is they locked themselves into having these 4 heads that all had to do different things.
Yeah.
And I think that was the mistake.
For the model itself, yeah.
Yeah. Just
Maybe you're
give
right.
it 2. Like, it would have been fine with 2.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, just call out, it's like, oh, it's got, you know, these different heads that do different things, but don't call out that it has to be like, oh, I got 4 different things I gotta do. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's silly. I guess it doesn't matter. We can move on.
Yeah, I see your point though, but as far as like functionality on the table, this thing rules. But I see your
Oh,
point
yeah,
entirely. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. No, this thing's great.
It was a nitpick,
No question.
but yeah,
Yeah, it's totally a
funny.
nitpick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just one of those design things that just, like, irk me.
I understand. Yeah, like we said that for like years now too, and they didn't fix it, so we could say it again. Yeah.
Yep.
For shame.
Here's the obligatory. You didn't fix that.
Yep.
Oops.
Exactly. Do better.
It's fine.
Yeah. Let's see. Leech Cavalos. So he went up to 5 attacks, 3/3 minus 1/2, and then the mount is 6 attacks, 3/3 minus 1/1. Cool. Issues a command once per free. Does impact charges, and then the +1 attack on the hero phase.
How good are the impact charges?
Equal to the charge roll. Each 5 up is a mortal wound. So like 2
Oh,
to 3 on
cool.
average. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, reasonable 180 points for that. Like I'm impressed.
Oh, this guy's 180.
Yeah,
this guy's good.
right. Like he does everything the army wants, which is like so rare for this kind of hero for them to do in these books.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, like
he's got a 3-up save.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. 3-up save with a 4-up ward.
That's the way to go.
It seems pretty good to me. I don't know.
I'll try it next time. Yeah. It never occurred to me that you could just like give him the 5-up ward with that command ability, and then it just bumps it to the 4-up.
It just gives it a +1. Yeah.
Like because every instance in the Night Hunt book, they were super careful to make sure that you could never do that.
Right.
And I just assumed they did that here, but like you're right, they didn't.
Yeah. Maybe they intended to. I don't know.
Yeah.
But...
So I guess we'll get in while the getting's hot, or we just do it forever because it rules.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. No, that seems like a really powerful, hard to move unit, and then you give him the command trait of like -3 to charge.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I that seems really good to me.
Yeah.
Like he's not getting charged by as many things, so he's going to survive more. And plus, you pick your charges, and
you can kind of be aggressive about him by just like sticking him out in the open.
Yeah, and is it just me, or does he actually have a ton of attacks?
He's got 11, yeah.
Yeah, and like those whose teeth and barbed tails are 3-up, unlike normally with those things where they're like complete junk.
And like he can.
Those are actually like okay.
That +1 attack to himself.
Yeah, it's not as relevant on him, I don't think, but like.
I don't know, but there's probably turns too where you're like, I need to, like, that's one thing I want to mention too. Is like, this one's mine. Like, have your general kill something. He is capable of killing something.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, like.
Absolutely.
I don't know, like I think he's good.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah, like, if you really need to, you can put the buffs on him. Like he can give himself the additional run, the additional attack, right?
Yep.
Like if you put something with the -1 save, he's kind of at Ren 2. Could kind of be at Ren 3.
Yeah.
He killed Kairos all by himself today. Over 2 turns, but he did it.
That's pretty great.
Yeah. And then you have the army-wide retreat and charge, too. So, like, he could just fall back, pump right in with those mortal wounds.
I don't know. This guy seems real good to me.
He seems really good, yeah.
Now, question: he can only issue the one command in a phase, though, right? So, like, he couldn't also issue it to like some other unit.
Correct.
Still,
so you're not like brushing +1 to hit attacks all over.
Yeah.
Like you were at the beginning of 2nd edition with them. No.
Right.
Which is good.
Yep.
But like, I don't know. I ran him with both my games. I was impressed both games.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
Yep. He died to a bunch of trolls, but
well, that'll happen eventually.
Yeah. But like, yeah, it took a dedicated hammer to bring him down.
Right.
I don't know. I like what he does for this army a lot.
Yeah, I think this guy's got a lot of potential.
And like, you're right. +1 attack is like a really powerful multiplier,
Yeah.
especially when they can like, I don't know, trickle down to like, Netherite weapons.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. It's like +1 attack with a 16% to be +2 attacks.
Yeah.
In
It's
a
like,
way, yeah.
yeah.
And like, that's what I mean about like this book does so much more damage because like
Oh yeah,
if
it
you
seems
bring
like it.
him and like they timed it right, so it's the beginning of the hero phase, and so like Mortek Guard being on 3 attacks like makes them like 50% better.
Yeah. Oh no,
Yeah, and the
absolutely, right?
Immortus Guard
Like
being on 4 attacks, like
really
that was
good. And then they
basically
can
stalker damage. Yeah.
yeah. And then they can also get +1 attack or also do their double combat or
Yeah.
right? Like double combat on those, like with the +1 attack, that seems awesome.
Yeah.
Did you have that on the Immortus card when you did 24 damage to something?
No,
Yeah.
but I could
So
have.
like it could have been more.
Yeah. Like I'm telling you, like this guy rules.
Yeah.
I'm,
No,
I'm
I
expecting to see him in
completely
most
agree.
armies. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Cavalos Death Riders. So they have the same impact charges where it's equal to the charge roll, and then
It's
each
just for
5
the
up.
unit, right? I
Yeah,
assume.
exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So in my mind, that says right there, minimum sized unit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I guess I forgot to mention this with the spears and the Mortek guard, but it's same here too. Of instead of like 3s, 4s, no rend 1 damage, it's 4s, 4s, rend 1, 1 damage. And then the swords are just 3s, 4s, -1, 1. So do you want the 2-inch range or the +1 to hit? You probably want the +1 to hit most of the
Probably.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Especially
guess
with minimum size units.
yeah, and I guess there's like the argument like, oh, if you're reinforcing this, you can get all of the spear attacks in with 10 attacks at the 2-inch range. But you're not reinforcing it in my mind because you're losing
You want
half your
the
impact charges that way.
right.
Yeah.
And the impact charge is like decent damage.
Yep.
Like I don't know, these guys with Crematorians seem spectacular.
At 170? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Oh, and let's talk about like how that works with Nagash too.
Yeah.
Because
That's what I was
like
saying
a
earlier.
half-size unit still does the same impact damage.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
You get to retreat and charge in this book too.
Right.
So you're
That seems like it could be a list. Well, what oh yeah, that's one of the just the command abilities, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, that sounds like a list to me.
I think so
Just
too.
saying.
Like,
which is weird because I always was never scared of them, but then all of a sudden with all those things, like I might be.
and they're 70 point or 170 points now, so they even dropped.
Did they used to be 2 wounds? Or am I crazy?
You're crazy.
I think I'm crazy.
They were always 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're thinking of Black Knights from Soul Blight.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. But I don't know. I really like these. Like I think like every list you want run one. There's also like a battle tactic that's pretty easy to get, which is just like be in combat with one of these at the end of the game or at the end of the turn.
Oh, that's very easy, yeah.
Yeah, but one thing too that people are very down on this unit for is it was a 12-inch move, now it's a 10-inch move. That's true.
Sure.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But like, what fucking ever, man. I don't know. Like,
yeah. Well, the funny thing is, I don't think you run them as Steliac Lords at all. Like, I just don't think that matters.
yeah.
Like, these guys, and like, I almost, like, their, like, attack profile is almost Ipsum Lorum, too, which is funny.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they're, like, I feel like they're, like, Crematorian's unit. And
yes,
you're hitting them with, like, you're hitting them with the impact charges, you're hitting them when they actually kill them.
Yeah, and Crematorians, without combat, you're doing an average of 8 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
Between the charges and then the exploding.
Right. Like, that's very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, and then, like, that seems like in this book, that's how you play Nagash, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You're locked into Crematorians, like 3 units of horses, go.
Yeah. I don't know, sounds fun.
I think so.
Maybe Nagash is probably still too expensive and you probably want another unit in that list that really make it function, but
well, so like that's why I said 3, right? So like Nagash is $950.
Yeah.
And then These are 170. So 170 plus one is 340 plus another 170. That's 510 plus 950 or 965. So that is 1475. What else do you bring? I think you just bring more tech guard to protect him, like 2 units of 10, or maybe
Sure,
one
yeah.
unit of 20, right?
Yep.
So you could keep it surviving, and that will be 300. So you have 200 points left. Immortus guard, or yeah,
Or just another unit of these.
or just another unit of these. Actually, is probably what you do instead.
Yeah.
So Immortus guard has like no synergy. Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Oh, sounds kind of fun to me.
Yeah, I want to play that list.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Yeah.
It honestly might have like no objective control, to be honest.
I mean, you
But
have like you have 4 units that move 10 inches, so like you'll have something.
yeah,
But like that's always
you're
a
not
problem
gonna.
with the god. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to like hold points over a dedicated.
Holding
Like
army. Yeah.
someone that's trying to hold the point is gonna hold the point over you.
Sure.
But but I think that will do really well against like elite armies.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I want to try that list soon. To be honest.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right. More tech crawler. This is interesting to me. I don't know how I feel about this yet, but let's talk about it. So it used to be like 3 attacks, like threes, twos, no rend, 5 damage, and then like I had like a couple once per game shots that you never used. So it has 3 weapon profiles now. One of them is 2d6 shots, threes, threes, no rend, 2 damage. 4 shots, threes, threes, -1, 2 damage. Or one shot, twos, threes, -2, D3.
E3+3.
D3 plus 3, yep. You're right. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
Um, yep. And then after you shoot at a unit, roll a dice. On a 5-up, that unit gets strike last. Add 2 to the roll if you put all of the shots into the same unit.
I feel like you usually do that.
Yes. But like that's admitting there's a use case too, where you're like there's a bunch of units out, and I'm spreading the attacks thin, and I'm trying to dish out as much strike less as possible, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I see why I did that. Yeah.
yeah, like I don't know. Just like that thing, fuck that thing. I want to give it strike last.
Yep.
200 points for this. And with the awesome factor, it gives you like the exploding sixes in the shooting. And like you can give it the additional rend on its like profile. Like the Warhammer Plus game they played, like this thing actually charged in, took the point, killed something with the +1 rend, and then the +1 rend command ability. So like, it's laughable damage, but like in a pinch, it can probably do something. Just like having that tilt option's kind of cool.
I feel like that's yeah.
That was an edge case.
I feel like that's just cute. That's like, oh look, it did a thing once.
It's a desperation thing, but like
Yeah.
having that is better than not having that.
Oh sure,
Objectively,
yeah.
right? But like you're not
Yeah.
planning on that.
Yeah.
But is 2d6, threes, threes, no rend, 2 damage? Is that worth it? I mean, it gives strike last on a 3-up, even if you do 0 damage, right?
True.
I don't know.
Strike last is pretty good.
I think 1 makes sense. Anything more than that is silly.
Yeah.
But I think 1 can make sense.
I don't know. Does 2 make sense for like dishing out strike last to 2 things a turn? Can it be affected by that? Like you can shoot the same thing twice and like have 2 shots at it, right?
That's true,
you can
yeah.
shoot at it. If you get it, try something else, and then like if you really want to like oh, I failed. Like
Yeah.
I really need that thing to have strike last, shoot it again.
But then I think you're like 400 points in the hole on something that's like, is that damage really that impressive?
Well, probably not.
That's what I'm wondering too.
Yeah.
But let's be honest to it. All right, let's talk about it this way. You have Arc on the black. He's got +2 inch range, and then he's got like the +6 inch range to the endless spells.
Mm-hmm.
You can put Purple Sun out there, and then you can put something that you need to shoot, with the Drain Vitality, right?
Yep.
So you can effectively give this thing Rend 2.
Rent 2 is pretty good.
Yeah, and then 2d6
Right,
shots.
suddenly this is looking a lot better, right?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is that a list too? What sub-faction do you run with that?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know either.
Something.
Yeah.
Make it explode.
Oh yeah, roll 12 dice. Boom!
Yeah. Boom! No, that's really bad, but that's okay.
I mean, if they come and if they have to kill it, like, you're getting a couple mortal wounds back. So, like,
Yeah,
it's
that's cute.
It's
I
cute,
think that's
yeah.
cute. Yeah, yeah. I was.
I mean,
just
honestly,
joking.
though, like, it's 12 wounds for 200 points, so it's 8. Okay, yeah, it's a lot less. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think the one shot. Oh, here's something I'm curious about, too. Cavalos Death, the Leech Cavalos. Add one to the attack characteristic of that unit's melee weapons. Okay. So you can't give
Alright,
it 2
yeah.
shots with the D3 plus 3,
That's
which would have been
probably
something, too.
the best.
That's for
Yeah,
the best, absolutely, yeah. But, like,
Yeah, doubling effects usually aren't good.
yeah.
I mean, no, they're very powerful, but usually not great
Arranged,
design
yeah.
for this game. Yeah.
I knew what you meant, but it's good to clarify that one, too, yeah. Okay, like, I don't know. I'm not sold on this. I want to. It's compelling to me, though. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
there's
like, I'll try
something
that.
to this, but like, I'm not sure it's gonna make it for me.
Yeah, it'll be fun to try.
And like, it might just be too expensive, and it might like drop in points as like books come out. You know, GHBs.
Right.
I don't know.
Yep.
We will see.
It's an interesting. There's something to be said. Like, it's possible. Like, some units are pointed in such a way so that, like, you try certain lists, and then they're like, "Oh, hey, look, this is like now way better. So go try it." And then it's like, keeps things interesting.
Yeah.
Like, they have updates they can do to keep things fresh and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything to that, but
I agree. My gut is that this isn't gonna see any like real. It's not embarrassing, right? Like, it's not like this thing is terrible, right?
Right.
I don't think it's going to see real competitive play, but I think like this will be a fun kitchen table. Like, it's doing fun things to the game, right?
Yeah.
And I'm into that. And I love that model, so I'm excited to play it.
That's true. It is really good.
And it's going to do that Ren build I was talking about, though. I think that's the real value.
Yep.
And it's like you're taking Arc on a lot of lists anyway, and Purple Sun is like 90, so that's like a lot, but a couple catapults in that might be really good.
Yeah.
It's
certainly there. Like an off the wall list.
Yeah. Gothazar Harvester. It's exactly the same as it was before, except for like it turned the D3 into 3.
Oh wow! Okay.
Which is cool. So like basically, it's like each time a model within 6 inches now. That's an upgrade. Each time anything within 6 inches on a 4-up, you pick an Ossiarch Bonereaper unit within 6 inches, and based on the wound count. If it was 4 or less, you heal 1 wound. And if it was 5 or more, you heal 3 wounds. It used to be D3.
Oh, okay.
And then, so it's within 6 inches too, which is a much bigger bubble. Yes. And then you can return models too. So the main thing this does is it parks its ass behind Mortek Guard, and each one that dies on a 4-up, it doesn't die instead.
Yep.
It lost like mortal wounds on 6, but like it has Netherite weapons, so like that's where it went. It's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. This thing wasn't doing damage really.
It could on occasion in a pinch, but
yeah. The Ossiarch was can give it an additional rend. That's pretty cute. 210. It's reasonable.
Yep.
Like, I think it'll be fun. I don't think you bring a lot of these, but I think if you want like I think in your crematorians list you bring one to hang out with your giant pocket of Mortek Guard. And they'll die and blow up, do damage, and come back, and die and blow up and do damage and come back. It'll be fun.
That is 100% what I would play if I was playing this army.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, no question about it.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
And I mean, like, I think there's something to that too.
Yeah.
And like when my friend Colin comes over, I'm gonna build that list for him, and he's gonna be thrilled. You know. And
thrilled to play against it or thrilled to play with it?
Against it.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, this is the art, like the way he plays. Like this is the way I see the game and how I want it to play. And if it works, it's great. It's like
Yep.
I like hundreds of clan rats, and I don't care who wins or loses, but I got to see 100 clan rats. Yeah, and like he's like, I
Yep.
love the Gothisar Harvester, and I want to see it on the table, and I want to see it do something. And I don't
Yep.
care who wins or loses, but it did
Oh,
something,
there you go.
and it rules. Yep, I love it. We're almost there. We got basically two more units to talk about, and then the endless spells.
Any spells?
Yeah,
Cool.
we'll crunch through these quick. Morghast, 240 for two. There's two varieties. One has a 5-up board near a hero, and one has you can deep strike it. Oh, you know what, Bill? Actually, the 4 board thing doesn't work. You know why?
Oh, why is that? Yeah, why is that?
Let's go back because we just spread a lot of misinformation. Let's fix that.
Okay. Why does it not
Um,
work?
so we go to the command ability, and I'm pretty sure it says it gives you +1 ward to your Deathless Warrior's battle trait. There it is. Add 1 ward. Add 1 to ward rolls for units for the purpose of the Deathless Warrior's battle trait. So the relic that gives you +1. Oh shit! No, you're right though. Because I would just stack with it. You're right. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Like that's so tough.
The wards say they can't be modified beyond one?
No, so you're right. They can still work.
Okay, alright, alright.
Never
I'm glad
mind.
I did not
Oh my god.
spread misinformation.
Yeah,
Alright,
you're
cool.
right. Okay. Because I'm just like, oh yes, that's the one to your Deathless Warrior, and then the other one. What's that artifact do again? I'm pretty sure it just says +1, so you can just
This one's a
modify it
ward rolls,
twice.
right?
Yeah. Add
Yeah.
1 to war. You're right. Okay, never mind.
Okay, cool, cool.
All right, we're going all the way back. Sorry.
No,
Getting
no, that was
tired.
important.
Yeah. Okay. Scrolling. All right, more gas. Okay. So this guy has a 5-up ward. So you can't modify that because that's not Deathless Warriors. It's a different ward source. Okay, cool. However, so they both give strike last on a charge roll of 8-up. Oh no, they
Strike
have
last.
strike first on a charge of 8-up. Okay, that's what they
Okay,
do. Yeah.
that's really good.
That being said, 240 points for like this attack profile, two models, like threes, -2, 3 damage. That's great. But there's only 6 attacks there for
Yeah,
240 points.
yeah.
Like I get there's
Like
matter
think of
rate. Yeah,
yeah, but think about like how much more damage like Immortus Guard does
yeah.
than that, right?
And so like when I played this a lot, like at the end, like the end of the last book, these are like 165.
Right.
They have the same wound count. They have the same attack profile. They didn't do enough damage. And now they're like
Right.
240.
Like that's a hard ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like what
mean,
did they gain exactly?
they got exploding sixes. They got the strike first thing. And then this guy used to be a 3d6 charge, and now it's a deep strike. So you deploy it off the table and then put it on the table. Which there might be value in that, to be honest.
Yeah. But like I don't know, like you said they weren't good enough at 165?
For their damage, at least, yeah.
Yeah, so for their damage, they weren't good enough at 165. Giving strike first actually doesn't give them any more damage, right?
No.
Because if they already weren't good enough, you were charging and attacking with them first. If they didn't do enough, they still don't.
So what can you do? So you can improve Nadirite weapons, so they get 3 attacks. I guess you can all-out attack them now, and you never could before.
That adds some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Ossiarch can give them an additional rend. So they can be on rend 3 damage.
Yeah.
I don't know, like
I just don't think they got enough. If they weren't doing enough damage, I feel like they still don't
yeah, my gut
have enough.
instinct is 240 is like a little bit too much for them.
Yeah.
And like I think they're gonna land around 200.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like there is a lot of damage buffs sneakily in this book.
hmm Yeah, I don't think they're doing it for their cost right now.
I don't think they're quite there.
Yeah.
But I could see a world where you take one of the deep strike guys and just be like having something in reserve that they have to respect.
That is powerful. Yeah.
Yeah,
Agree.
but like
And they count for 2 models at least each on the
Yeah.
objective, although that's not really getting you very far.
And I guess in Petrifex Elite, they're taking 1 less damage.
Yeah. And maybe that's where it is.
It's like you have to bring them there. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. They only have 4 save natively.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the fact that they can take like an all-out defense now.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like an aggressive piece, but maybe they're trying to be more defensive now. But like, I just feel like there are better options. I don't know.
Yeah, like
These guys are weird. I don't know.
When I always played them, like I was like 1 unit of them, and it's just because the horses were 190 and these were 165, and I just wanted like 1 fast piece.
Right.
And like they would charge in, and then they would like run away and be annoying, and if you left the objective, they'd just come in and sneakily take it.
Mm-hmm.
But like horses are 170 now, and these are like 240. You know.
Right. Yeah. It's
like,
not. You're not. Yeah.
That effect is like a lot. And there's like a lot of buffs you can toss on them. I know. And, like I've talked to some people who like think these are like gonna be book defining, but
really,
yeah, they're just like with the Oth effector and like all the ways to get +1 to hit and wound. Like the damage is there. And like, I don't know. Like I just think the damage is better on a lot of other places. And I don't think they're like reasonably faster than Necropolis Stalkers right now. Because they can like run and charge.
Right.
And they can auto run. And then charge, you know?
Necropolis Stalkers only have 1 less wound right now. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And their damage seems way better.
Well, that's not even fair to them, too, because they're 5 wounds for 3 models, as opposed to 6 wounds on 2 models. So for 220 points versus 240 points, right? Yeah.
No, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was... I didn't clarify that very well.
Okay, yeah, I just wasn't sure.
That was kind of like what I was trying to... That's what I was trying to get at there, was like...
Yeah.
Like, they used to be 4... They used to be the same number of wounds, right? Now they're actually more.
And I guess, like, the Necropolis Stalkers can't get affected by the Oss effector. That's true. But, like, I don't know.
What does the Oss effector give to them again? I can't remember.
An additional rend.
Oh, okay. I mean,
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't too much for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because, again, gorgeous model.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, they just seem to have so many less attacks.
That's the problem, yeah.
Right? Like, yeah.
Even though they are damage 3.
Yeah,
so they're
damage
one of those
3.
things, like, I feel like I could be very well surprised by them after playing with them, right?
Now, it's halberd or swords, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And all mine are mounted halberd because it looks awesome.
That's fair.
Yeah, but, like, the swords are probably better.
They might be. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to try a couple at some point because I think the Deep Strike thing is actually... That might be the thing that brings them into, like, compelling territory.
Like, oh, okay, this is what they do, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah,
we'll see. Interestingly enough, too, which is funny, they can be battle line if you have Arc on the Black or Nagash in your army.
Oh, because they're like the bodyguards.
Yeah.
For them, kind of thing.
Yep. I don't know if that does anything for them either.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
Can Stalkers ever be battle line?
If you have a Mortison as your general.
Oh, okay.
But
less likely, I think.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know.
Alright. Let's move on.
Yep.
Mir Kanan. He's 250 points for, like, effectively 8 wounds with a 3-up, and then you have 10 wounds on a 4-up. And he has, like, this... Every time you kill a model, you take a tithe. And then at the beginning of the hero phase, you can spend a tithe point to do an effect. Okay. And then his spell forces a thing within 3 inches to fight him. Okay.
Okay.
And then Kanan's Reapers count as 3 on the objective.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, they're okay.
Yeah.
Like, they're usable, I would say, but, like, I don't know, 250?
Oh.
For them, like, I'm not convinced.
Well, yeah. I'm surprised we didn't get the bows, I'll be honest.
I'm
looking at him. I forgot about that.
Yeah, like, that was...
Like, why is that the only guy in this whole... Yeah. Like,
the arm,
he is the only one that learned how to use a bow.
Yeah.
They made a sweet looking own bow just for that one little one wound guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Nothing
feel
else.
like they made it, and then Nagash is like, like we've all worked at a company where the management is just like questionably senile, and then like they yell at you for making a good decision,
Yeah.
and
You're
like
like, all right, fine.
yeah, and you're like, I'm sad for a while.
Yeah.
That could be what happened here. Like,
I
Nagash
don't
doesn't
know.
seem reasonable to me.
No, he does not seem reasonable
Yeah,
to me
so
either.
that's
Yeah.
probably what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love for
Everyone's
this
like,
army to have
look
a
at
bow.
this! It's a bow! We made one, look!
I
It's
feel like
like,
they could make
that's
a bow
awful. Give
unit
it to
that's
that guy.
like 120, and it sucks, but it's just 10 wounds with like a decent like shooting attack, like maybe like four spores, no around one damage. Just
Yeah.
pepper stuff, but it's a chaff screen with a ranged
Yeah.
attack. Like that's all it needs to be in this army to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Oh well.
Endless spells. Nightmare Predator does a bunch of damage. I don't really want to go into how. 40 points. It's fine. I always thought it was weird that it's like a dude.
Yeah,
You
it's kind of
know,
weird.
I'd
Yeah.
probably like kit bash like a skull fireball if I wanted this.
Yeah.
It's just damage, which is reasonable.
Yep.
Soulsteel Carrion, 30 points. Models with wound characteristic of 1 or 2 that are within 6 inches of this endless spell cannot contest objectives. This ability has no effect on Ossiarch Bonereapers.
Whoa.
Yep. Also, they have a bonded rule, so if you cast an endless spell with a wizard, they can't attempt to cast another endless spell ever until this is gone. And if the wizard dies, the spell goes away instead of going wild. And that might be
Wait.
marginally relevant. Wait, what?
Oh, never mind. No, it's all good.
Okay. Yeah, but like, I don't know. Shutting off objective control, that seems pretty good.
Yeah. I thought you said there for a second that it went the other way, where if this guy's removed, the wizard dies, and I'm like,
Oh,
that
no.
sounds awful.
That would be hilarious,
I
though.
had to double take that for
Yeah,
a
no, no,
second.
no,
And
no,
I'm
no,
like,
no,
there's
no.
no way. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know. Like, that's a reasonable price for that effect, I think, too.
Yeah.
Cast value 6, yeah. Plop it there? No. Next. Alright, we're almost there.
Last one, right?
Bone-Tide Shrieker? Yep. So this was
Oh.
like an auto take before. Or not an auto take, but it was a very powerful take. So at 40 points, casting value 5, range of 12, moves 8. Units within 12 inches of this cannot receive Inspiring Presence or Rally. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Subtract 1 from ward rolls for units within 12 inches of this endless spell. This ability has no effect on Ossiarch Bonereapers. So all your 6-up wards don't exist. All your 5-up wards are 6. That seems very strong.
Yeah.
Yep, I gotta find room for this in a lot of my lists, I think.
Yep.
There's enough like 6-up ward running around.
Yeah, you just like turn it off, or
Yeah.
you make their good. Yeah.
It's 40 points, man. Like that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we need to talk too much about that, but yeah. This
Yeah.
is gonna be in a
No,
lot of lists.
that's good.
Bone-Tithe Nexus. What does this do? It's impassable. You can't move over it. It's very big. And then you have 4
Yes.
effects. And you pick one of the punishments in each of your hero phases. And they're all in a 4-up, or if an enemy unit died within 12 inches of them last turn, you add 1 to the effect. So on a 3-up.
Okay.
One is subtract 1 from hit rolls. One is on a 4. Yeah, one is D3 mortal wounds. One is subtract 1 from casting or chantings. And one is subtract 3 from charge rolls.
Oh yeah, there's that double dip you can do.
Exactly. So one thing that was kind of sad is I really liked the. It used to be on a 2-up 1 mortal wound to anything within 36. I think that was actually like weirdly very good. Like how many things were like on 1 wound left. And like I had an eye for an eye battle tactic today, and I got it with this, but like the thing had 1 wound left, and I would have much rather have been able to do it on a 2-up, than like risk a 4-up.
Yep, agree.
And It's impassable. I think that's super annoying.
Because the thing's so huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you can't even like land on it or like near it or between the cracks on it. It's just like this thing takes up matter. Like this part of the
Yeah.
battlefield does not exist anymore.
Yep.
This thing is
It's kind of
gigantic.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that
Although
was interesting.
weirdly, if you stomp it, then you can walk over it.
Yes.
It's not stomp, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I
the
can't remember
monstrous
the name.
action, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, like this is one of the best screens in your army.
yeah.
Because it's
That's
fucking
really funny.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. The effects seem okay on it, right?
Yeah.
Like on a 4-up, do like a little thing. The minus charge is probably the most impactful, to be honest.
Yep.
-1 from chanting is a lot more powerful than -1 to cast. Like -1 chanting is actually like pretty relevant. -1 to cast is like I sleep, you know?
Yeah.
Especially on a 4-up now. I think it's kind of cool that like if you kill something in range, you get a bonus to that roll. It's like,
That's
oh,
kind of
you
cool.
killed the
Yeah.
tithe, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little hard to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. We're done with this book.
Wow.
That went a little
Good book,
longer than I
think.
thought it was, to be honest.
Yeah, it's funny because like you get to all those like units that like I was like doing a mental note of like how many units. It's like, oh, there's not too many in this one.
Yeah.
And then you get to like Throckmorton and like the Chaos Liege Cavalos
Yeah.
and the Underworld's Warband, and you're like, oh yeah, there is a few more in here than I was thinking.
Yeah. Overall, like both of my games I had were like an absolute blast at this book.
That's great.
Like I love this book so much right now.
Yeah.
And like I don't think it's like that crazy more powerful than the last one.
Mhm.
And I think like individually each piece is like much better. But like the army costs like so much more now that you have like everything has to matter a lot at the price point it's at.
Right.
And
yeah.
it does, for sure.
Yep.
I think it's ultimately like a little bit of a buff, maybe mostly a side grade in a lot of the regards. I just feel
But
like
like a quality of life improvement, huge. Like
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And like the bone type, like the 8 command points is like so fun.
Right.
And like
Yeah.
just being able to just have it instead of like count the units, roll the dice, you know.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But it also like it's a list building restriction that you like really have to think about. And if you bring
Mhm.
the really big guys, you're like, oh man, like if I lose one thing, like it's over for me for getting 8, right?
Right.
So
Yep.
that's interesting too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's compelling. There's a lot of like compelling choices here. Like I think 4 of the sub factions at least are very strong and
Yep.
like reasonable to play. I'm tired though.
Yeah. That was we went long for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try to figure out how to cut down Soul Blight because that's a way bigger book.
Oh, that book's huge, yeah.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
You will figure it out for sure. Maybe we don't need to go over every single individual war scroll, but
The one time we skipped over one, it turned out to be a really good one though.
that's true. Yeah.
I know, right?
And we got
like,
yelled at, which is real funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it is funny.
But I don't know. I love this book though. Like I've had so much fun with it. I can't wait to do more.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. What are your thoughts overall?
No, it seems like a really cool book. Yeah.
That
I'm-
one
I
thing you
like-
hate, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm not a fan of that, and it's like an auto take or like pretty close to feels
Yeah.
like so. But that's okay. We'll see how it ends up playing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
And I'm sure if it is like really bad, it'll be fixed or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
But other than that, we're looking good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you next time, whenever that may be.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Possibly Monday.
Possibly Monday. Yep. Goodbye.